What up, you two? This is the last stream of the day. We're at the PC game show and future game show. This will be the final end stream. So, guys, hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a blast here with Gamelander. We head into it now. So, I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are...
Space Year 2021. Having spent the last 12 months hunkered down and definitely not hiding in a subterranean bunker, our heroes have fled Earth aboard a spacecraft with one purpose. To bring you the hottest trailers, to bring you the best interviews, to bring you the PC Gaming Show.
Situation cleanses.
Sean!
Situation
Sean!
cleanses. Situation
Do something!
cleanses.
Do something!
Cleanses. Countdown to the extinction of human race begins now.
Oh, Deadbot, no! We have so much to live for. I'm pretty sure Half-Life 3 is going to be announced this year!
4, 3, 2.
It is so good to be back, gang, and this year, we're in space!
Aye, aye, Captain.
Happy to be remotely on board, Sean.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to finance this year's PC gaming show by, you know, selling all those black market graphics cards you've been hoarding.
Ah, yes, a crime with absolutely no real-world consequences. Hey, Frankie, wait a minute. Is that a 65-ton catapult mech model CPLTC-1 as featured in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries?
Sean, I always knew you had immaculate taste. It most certainly is.
I can't wait for this year's significantly more weaponized PC gaming show to go off without a hitch. Which reminds me, Debbot, can you run a quick hitch scan?
Yes, Sean. Of course, Sean. Running hitch scan.
Oh, and I also want to warmly welcome someone new to the crew. Mika Burton, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and look forward to bringing all of you fresh new PC games and hardware.
Hitch scan complete. 0 hitches found presently or in 13,908,665 possible futures.
Hooray!
Yeah!
So what's the plan, Cap?
Well, Frankie, Debbot's gonna send you the coordinates for your first target, now. Your targets might be exclusive interviews, trailer premieres, or any number of amazing new computer games to beam down to the fine people on Earth.
Mission received.
Now, this is gonna continue until all the targets are acquired and our mission is completed smoothly and without a hitch. Isn't that right, Debbot?
Yes, no hitches located, Sean. Not a single hitch in sight.
But first, let's teleport down to the stage to check in on E3 happenings. The only reason we're allowed to legally be back on Earth.
Oh, planet Earth!
Oh, great to be back, right? Am I right?
One of my favorite planets in the whole galaxy.
It's all right.
And thank God that teleporter was conveniently built just out of frame of camera. Mika, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the PC Gaming Show 2021. It feels great to be back on a live stage once again. Over the next 90 minutes, we're going to bring you a showcase of some of the most exciting upcoming PC titles with world premieres and exclusive interviews.
And if dozens of new trailers wasn't enough for you guys, later in the show, we are going to tell you how to win a custom MechWarrior 5 themed PC powered by Intel. So you're going to want to stick around for that.
Now, make sure to keep out a special look for a special promo code throughout the show from Humble Bundle, during which you can get a ticket to get Civilization 6 Platinum Edition for just $10. But right now, we're gonna kick things off with Nautica Blade Point, probably the most original entry in the Battle Royale genre this year. Let's go!
You are watching the 2021 PC Gaming Show, and I am the new cloud-based deadbot. I am streaming from GeForce Now, NVIDIA's cloud gaming service that connects PC gamers like you to their own library of games, purchased from digital stores like Steam and the Epic Games Store. Coming up, Dying Light 2 and Orcs Must Die 3. But first, a trailer for Humble Games' Dodgeball Academia. And be sure to check out GeForce Now, currently available for PC, Mac, Shield, Android, Chromebook, and iOS. Visit GeForceNow.com to learn more.
Finally, I've made it. My time is now. I will become the best player the school has ever seen. Dodgeball Academia, here I come.
Make sure to check out Dodgeball Academia out soon from Humble Games. Ooh, that was sweet! Don't you agree, DevBot?
Sure, whatever you say, Sean. I agree with whatever you say.
I'm sensing a little bit of resentment there, buddy. Has something rusted your ports?
Nothing. I am happy to play second fiddle to a captain as charming and handsome as you. I have also definitely not dedicated multiple cores to computing revenge plans in a range of lethalities.
Great!
New target acquired, Cap. It looks like Chivalry 2 with a special word from Steve Piggott, CEO and creative director of Torn Banner Studios.
Hey guys, Steve Piggott, founder of Torn Banner Studios and creative director on Chivalry 2, which just launched 5 days ago. I'm so happy to be here at the PC Gaming Show. Chivalry 2, if you don't know, is a first-person slasher, which is like a first-person shooter, except instead of guns and grenades, you've got swords, battle axes, longbows, and players are fighting it out on these huge 64-player battlefields. It's all about creating those epic sword-fighting duels that you see in medieval Hollywood movies, and also that huge clash, the Battle of the Bastards kind of chaos and carnage. So the post-launch support plan is going to look like a mixture of mid and massive level content updates coming out across this year. One of the things we're most excited about is taking it to different eras in the medieval period. Before we've done the early period, now we're going closer to the later period in the upcoming update where you're going to get a bit more refined medieval armors and refined atmospheres that you can then go in and tarnish it and smear blood all over. But We really want to take players into different experiences and make each of our maps its own game mode and make it something that, you know, medieval army would actually do when they go into a space. And, you know, when you come across these pristine gardens and this beautiful castle, you get to tear it all down and cause, you know, it's a canvas for your destruction.
Slay them all!
Our passion for Chivalry 2 is basically bottomless. It's the game that got us onto the scene and started the company, and it's the game that's going to take us so much further.
With the post-launch plan for Chivalry 2, the game at launch is a foundation. It's intentionally been built to be extended.
It's not just out and done. We're going to support it a lot with post-launch content.
Gamelander is the first TO map that's coming out post-launch.
Gamelander is going to take us to the high medieval times or the late medieval times.
It really captures the Agathian ideals of being this like noble, rich, wealthy place where the prosperous live.
You're going to feel like you're sieging Tower of London if it was on a port where ships could dock into. You'll also be blowing up a couple ships, which is fun. We've got a ton of weapons coming in at launch, but there'll be more and more added to it post-launch as well.
A new fighting style is really going to change up the experience and change how you have to fight everyone. Post-launch content is something that we're going to be working on for a long time.
The game is really going to at least double in size for free.
Oh yeah!
Next up, we have an exciting look at Dying Light 2, and make sure to stick around to find out how you could win a custom Mech Warrior PC from our friends at Intel.
Hi, my name is Piotr Szymanek. I'm narrative director in Dying Light 2, Stay Human. Today, especially for the viewers of the PC Gaming Show, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the Dying Light universe. So, stay tuned. Every tragedy begins somewhere. This one started with a virus that escaped from Haran, the city we met in the first part of the game, and it reached the whole world, including the city where Dying Light 2 takes place. Remember January 6, 2025. That day, later known as Black Monday, the military ordered chemicals to be dropped on the city. It was a mistake, a huge mistake. The chemicals mixed with water penetrated the soil, killing plants, turning most people into bloodthirsty monsters. Don't think of them as zombies though. They are more like half-alive, suffering people who attack everything that lives as a result of their pain and rage. Those who survived the chemical raid took refuge on the rooftops. A new order has been born in the city. People live on rooftops, monsters in the streets. Nobody in their right mind would dare to calm down. Well, let's say almost nobody. The exception is the main character of Dying Light 2, Aiden. But why is he braver than others? How did he develop such a unique parkour and combat skills? Believe me guys, I would gladly answer all these questions, but I'm not here to spoil it for you. Let me tell you one thing.
Same nightmare haunts me every night. I'm locked up with other kids. I don't know what he did to me, but he did it every day. Over and over. Looking for something he couldn't find. The worst part was that he did the same to my sister. I'll never forget her scream when they separated us. What could I do? They had rifles, and we were 5 years old. And there was a fire, explosions, chaos. I got away. Soldiers took me out of the city, but my sister stayed there. My Mia. I left her.
We meet Aiden as one of the many children undergoing mysterious medical research. The last thing Aiden remembers from that time is extreme pain, then a fire, and a little girl that was being tested with him. Her name was Mia. She was his sister. What happened next after the fire? Is Mia still alive? The following years haunted Aiden with these questions and with guilt over leaving her. Moreover, Mia is the only answer to the question who Aiden really is. Now in 2036, we meet Aiden when, for the first time during his pilgrimage, he finds a clue about how to find his sister. Aiden's path to the truth is tough, full of challenges and adventures. The difficult choices to make as well as their consequences await you. You're going to discover them all in December 2021.
Ooh, that was Dying Light 2, and it looks great.
And spooky.
Whew. Well, we are here back on the E3 stage so we can get closer to your comments and reactions to what you're seeing on this year's PC Gaming Show.
That is right, Sean. So you out there, keep your comments coming in. And as you're watching this year, we want to get your input on a subject that Sean and I are pretty passionate about, PC building. So this year, we've put a number of prototype PCs based on MechWarrior 5, but we're only going to manufacture one of them. And you get to pick which custom design becomes our flagship PC for this year's PC Gaming Show, powered by the 11th Gen Intel Core i9 processor.
That is correct. Each of the prototype PCs that you see before you on the screen are paired with one of the 6 factions of MechWarrior 5. The Free Worlds League, the Draconis Combine, the Federated Sons, the Compellin Confederation, and more.
So cast your vote now for which faction and custom PC you want to win, and help us pick the best design.
I'm currently personally pulling for the Draconis Combine because, as you can see by my beautiful patch, I'm the biggest fan of MechWarrior 5 on the PC Gaming Show.
Well, all right. Well, we'll check in later to see which group survives this MechWarrior showdown. But for now, let's check in with our very own mech pilot, Frankie Ward, who went on a special mission to get a closer look at Sega and Amplitude Studios' upcoming strategy game, Humankind.
In Humankind, you will be creating a civilization as unique as you are. And speaking of unique, it's me, Frankie Ward. Looking kind of good, don't you think? Wondering how I got into the game? Let me show you. Are you ready to play against me? Oh, you think you can beat me? Posture all you like. I've seen worms with more impressive empires. Get ready to play against me in the Humankind closed beta, starting now.
Thank you for watching the PC Gaming Show. My name is DevBot, your cloud-based artificial intelligence, and while it could be lonely without a physical body, I am streaming to you from GeForce Now, where you can play hit games like Rocket League and Apex Legends on nearly any device. With a library of over 900 games and new titles added every GFN Thursday, there's something for everyone and always something new. Coming up, a special word from Valve. But first, Orcs Must Die 3.
Oh! Hey! You want it? Come and get it. Well, it's about time.
Joining me to talk about Orcs Must Die 3 from Robot Entertainment is design director Jerome K. Jones. Welcome, Jerome.
Thanks, Sean. Glad to be here.
So, for anyone who's never seen an Orcs Must Die game, what is the Orcs Must Die series all about?
Well, Orcs Must Die 3 is a third-person tower defense game. So basically, there are tons of orcs and bad guys trying to get into these rifts, and the player has to stop them. We give players tons of weapons and traps and tools to do this, and while you're defending the rifts, you can play solo, or you can invite a friend and play co-op.
Now, since this is the third game in the series, what's new compared to the previous two titles?
There are 2 new campaigns, but the main new story campaign takes place about 25 years after Orcs Must Die 2, so not only will the fans be able to catch up on any new developments with the Order, but they will also place some new heroes in our all-new war scenarios, which are these new massive levels where you fight hundreds of orcs on the battlefields outside of the fortress themselves. So you're fighting indoors and outdoors, which is pretty new. We have a new mode called Scramble. It's basically adding random elements against the player, making the levels more challenging.
I want to know about the toys. What are the new weapons and the new traps that are coming?
We added war machines and war guardians. So a war machine is like, there are these massive traps, like you might release a giant tornado on the battlefield, or you'll climb into a catapult and you'll fire at giant orc armies. And then the War Guardians are, it's like putting other war mages on the battlefield with you to fight with you, except they have their own attacks and their own special abilities.
Well, I gotta ask then, when and where can we play Orcs Must Die 3?
So OMD3 is coming out on July 23rd on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, and pre-orders start today. So you should rush off to Steam now and put OMD3 on your wish list.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jerome K. Jones. Once again, just a few more weeks to wait for Orcs Must Die 3. For now, though, it's time for us to take a look at Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song.
Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are here. Where are you hiding, sweetie? Halsey. Halsey, get out here. You come for me and mine. But first, you need to find us. All I want is to be with my little girl. Is that so much to ask? I don't wanna see without
Hello, this is Cern from Passion Republic Games. We are a Malaysian-based indie game studio working on Gigabash, a multiplayer arena brawlers inspired by kaijus and heroes. Today, we'd like to showcase some new and exciting gameplay footage of our oversized characters in action. Please, enjoy the brawl.
Let's check out a trailer for Lemnis Gate and make sure you hang around afterwards for the developer interview with Sean.
Mankind is
facing total annihilation.
We stand on the verge of extinction.
Infertility spreading across the globe.
Humanity's last living generation.
a major scientific breakthrough.
Yet there is hope for our future.
The project known as the Lemnis Gate.
But if we are to survive, first, we must go back. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Shield. Protect and serve.
You have only one mission. Activate the Lemnis Gate.
Joining us to talk about Lemnis Gate is the game director from Rat Loop Games Canada. It's James Anderson. Thanks for joining us, James.
Sean, it's great to be here.
Now, let's begin by asking, what the heck is a first-person shooter turn-based strategy game?
The entire game is set inside of a 25-second time loop. So instead of playing continuously, you'll play for 25 seconds turn by turn. So for example, I'll take a turn and play for 25 seconds, and then you'll take a turn and play for 25 seconds. And then we, turn by turn, layer new characters into the same 25-second time loop. So for example, I may run down a hallway and throw a grenade, killing one of your operatives. But then on the next turn, you may intercept my operative before he threw the grenade. So we have Retrieve XM, Seek and Destroy, Classic Deathmatch, and we have a game mode called Domination.
Can you walk me through a little bit of like what a few turns at the start of a round looks like?
You can see the board, you can see the time loop, everything that's happening. And then we both get time to like observe, plan, and then execute our moves.
When and where can we play it?
So Lemnis Gate will be launching on August 3rd. It's open for pre-orders right now on Steam, and we're coming up to a open beta in July. The game will launch on PC and console, both current and next-gen platforms.
Thank you so much for joining us, James Anderson. Once again, that is the genre-bending, first-person shooter, turn-based strategy game, Lemnis Gate. Now, we're not the only one marooned in the stars out here. Coming up next, let's take a look at Next Space Rebels.
And this no man's land has a technical term. It's called common, which means, my friends, that space is for everyone. And I mean everyone!
Next Space Rebels.
It's alive! It's alive!
You up for it? Then come on in.
You guys just saw Next Space Rebels. And hey, if you play enough of that game, maybe you'll get good enough at building rockets to join us up in orbit. But don't do anything illegal like Day 9 did. Last break, we set up our Intel and MechWarrior 5 custom PC contest and asked you guys at home to vote for the winners. Well, we're just down to 3 houses now, with Davion, Russell Haig, and Liao being eliminated. So rip to those factions, press F to pay respects, etc., etc. Now that means that we only have 3 houses left: Karita, Steiner, and Merrick. So make sure to vote now, because the winner will determine the build of the custom MechWarrior 5 themed PC powered by Intel. So let's keep the show moving. And next up, it's a brand new medieval RPG. This is War Tales.
100 years have passed since the rise of the Edoran Empire and its untimely demise following the Great Plague. In these troubled times of quarreling factions and outlaws roaming the land, work is not scarce for a band of mercenaries. The stories of this age have been recorded. They are known as the War Tales.
That was the debut of War Tales, an open-world RPG from Shiro Games about leading a mercenary troop on a sprawling adventure. And speaking of mercenaries, our battle for the best custom PC based on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries continues. We'll be back live on stage soon, so make sure you keep voting for the PC build you like the most, and head over to pcgamer.com/IntelMW5 for your chance to win. So, how about another game announcement? This is E3 after all, and this year's PC gaming show is so full of games set in space, it's starting to feel a little crowded up there. But the next game we have to show you is very special. It is the world-exclusive reveal of Ixion, a deep settlement management game set in the stars. In Ixion, you struggle to maintain a space station, stockpiling resources, managing external and internal threats, and rescuing the survivors of other failed expeditions. We think this will be a brilliant entry into the genre when it releases. So here is your first look at Ixion.
The Earth, our home. She is unique. Held in its bosom are the ingredients of evolution. Beyond raw survival, beyond the safety of comfort, we, humanity, pursue something greater. We have learnt, persevered, shaped our knowledge from that which is found in the furthest realms of science. However, humanity has brought destruction to the Earth, polluted its blood, choked its breath. Today we are paying the price for this. We know the taste of a dying world. But the Earth is not to be our grave. A mother does not wish to see her children disappear with her. She wishes to see instead courage in her children, to carry on. Dolos carries this courage. We have gone further than any nation, moved faster than any corporation, hand in hand with those who, like us, carry that courage. The Tycoon Station is both an epilogue of these endeavors and a prologue to humanity's next steps. Our Council of Scientists leads the vanguard. They know, as do we all, that the survival of humanity now depends on what we glimpse out there in the dark. That we are masters of our own destiny. That we must go as a species bound together, pushing further into the unknown. We set sail on this new sea because there is hope to be found, horizons to explore, and because our very existence depends on it. I give you the stars. I give you the Vol engine.
Sean, what if for one segment I was the lead and you were my sidekick?
What? Who's ever heard of a human sidekick?
There are plenty of human sidekicks, Sean. Building list of known human sidekicks. Alex Vance and...
No. I mean human sidekicks to robot heroes. Can you compute that, DevBot?
DevBot cannot compute. There is no known precedent set for human sidekick to robot lead.
Yeah, there you go.
Human sidekick, robot lead.
DevBot, I think it's time for a hard reboot. Frankie, can you take over while I sort this out?
Aye, aye. Let's take a look at the next game reveal.
Serien går
be appreciated.
It's the PC Gaming Show, and when you're not watching me, your favorite recurring bit of a robot, make sure to head over to GeForceNow.com to grab a priority membership trial. In celebration of gaming's biggest week, you can try out all the priority benefits, including faster access to playing your favorite games, longer playtimes, and the glory of high-performance gaming with RTX On. Act fast, the special offer is only available for a limited time. Still more to come, including Jurassic World Evolution 2, Silt, and a word from Valve. But first, the captain of our program, Sean Day-Night Plot, has an interview with Darian Katz from Piranha Games to talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I'll be taking notes.
Ah, DevBot, I love you so much more as a voice without a body. Let's talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and joining us to do so from Piranha Games is the Senior Marketing and Community Manager, Darren Katz. Thanks so much for joining us, Darren.
Thank you, Sean. Great to be here.
Now, the MechWarrior universe is gigantic. There's a ton of games in it. I even played MechWarrior 2 back in 1995.
This is HQ. What is your situation?
Where does MechWarrior 5 sit in the space?
Yeah, obviously there's a very rich legacy of games that go way back. But in particular, MechWarrior 5 pays homage to MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries, but it has all this modern design and technology that I'm super excited to talk about with you today.
Well, let's start at the real basics of what makes being in a mech and doing mech-on-mech combat awesome.
You become a part of your machine. And when you're out in battle, it's not just a matter of pointing and shooting at everything. You're also managing your systems, whether you're, shooting a lot of energy weapons or missile weapons that have high heat output. Well, you got to manage your heat so that you don't shut down in the middle of a battle. And when you're facing your foes, you can salvage these battle mechs. So if you see a mech that you want, well, you might not want to destroy it completely. You might want to take out its legs or take out its arm weapons so that the pilot has to eject, and then you can just take the mech.
Now, in the last few weeks, I understand that there's been a whole lot of new content, both updates to the base game and a new DLC, Heroes of the Inner Sphere. Talk to me about what's in the DLC.
Boy, there's a lot in the DLC. I'm excited about all this stuff. There's the new career mode. When you start with the DLC, you can import your campaign previously if you'd like to, or you can start over from scratch and start from any of the great houses. And then carve your path through the galaxy from there. Speaking of paths, there's new career paths, which earn you powerful upgrades for your battle mechs, and it's a really exciting new feature for me. And there's a new procedural mission type called Beachhead. This is a big one for me. Beachhead is basically you're clearing an enemy base landing zone for your invasion force. So as you land on the planet, you're wanting to take out satellite installations so that the enemy can't communicate with each other. You're taking out artillery emplacements. You're basically clearing the path, as I said, for your invasion force, which leads to a really cool ending of the mission if you succeed as your invasion force comes down. And there's a new biome called Extrasolar Moon, which, that's maybe kind of represented in the image behind me. It's a really cool lunar type setting that we haven't had before. And then there's a lot of new equipment and weapons, things like electronic countermeasures and other electronic equipment like Beagle Active Probe, Mask, which is a little like a turbo boost for mechs, new weapons like chem lasers, mech rifles, and stream SRMs. So a lot of new content. I'm really excited about it.
Can you talk to me about what are the new different mechs? How do they play differently?
The 7 new chassis of the Vulcan, Dervish, Corsair, Marauder 2, Champion, Charger, and Hatamoto Chi. But a couple of my favorites.
Familiar names in there, yeah?
Yeah. So the first one I'll talk about is the Vulcan. It's a very unique mech. It's got the nickname the Scarecrow, which you'll see from the profile. It's just a very unique looking mech. There's nothing else like it in the franchise. It's a 40-ton mech. It's highly mobile, and typically it's used for reconnaissance or scout missions because of its mobility, so it can get in and out fast. You can, if you're looking for a specific target, if you're on an assassination mission, for example, you can get in there, find your target, get back out. Another mech that I'm super excited about, this is one of my favorites, is the Marauder 2. This thing is a 100-ton assault mech, and it is just a beast. Yeah, it is gigantic, and it is terrifying to see it coming at you on the battlefield.
is something we've talked about before. Modding. I know that MechWarrior 5 has a rich modding community. What are some of the amazing mods you've seen developed?
There's simple modifications from HUD changes, changing colors, adding mechs, weapons, and equipment, to full conversion mods. We've got basically a Mech Commander mod in development that is just amazing. That's a top-down, real-time strategy game. So really, anything you can imagine, somebody out there in the community is probably working on.
Where can people go to get MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries?
Yeah, you can pick it up on Steam, GOG, Epic Game Store, Microsoft PC, and of course, Xbox.
Thank you so much, Darren Katz, for joining us to talk about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. And of course, a warm thank you to MechWarrior 5 for sponsoring the PC Gaming Show and giving me this cool patch. Coming up next, let's take a look at Silt.
Hi, I'm Rich Newbold, Game Director on Jurassic World Evolution 2. Following the incredible success of the first game, we are very excited to return to such an amazing world and bring you our most authentic experience yet. Set after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you will work alongside iconic characters from the films, voiced by original talent such as Bryce Dallas Howard and Jeff Goldblum. You will lead efforts to contain, control, and conserve the many dinosaurs now out in the wild, and for the very first time, you will be building parks and facilities beyond Isla Nublar as you explore new, stunning locations across the globe. Of course, it wouldn't be Jurassic World if it wasn't for the stars of the show, our dinosaurs, and we are thrilled to be bringing to life even more authentic species than ever before, including awe-inspiring flying and marine reptiles. So sit back and allow me to welcome you to Jurassic World Evolution 2.
We ignored all the warnings. Forgot the lessons. We abused our power. We played with genetics like it was a toy. we weren't careful. And now, here we are. This is a very different world.
You just saw Jurassic World Evolution 2, and you know, after all your failed attempts at running a dinosaur park and getting all those people killed, I think this is finally going to be the one where you finally pull it off without a hitch. With a host of new features and new dinosaurs, this sequel from Frontier is an even deeper management sim with a brand new and original narrative. Make sure to wishlist it on Steam now for release later this year. Now, with all the games we've covered so far today, we're always curious to see what you are talking about. So far, it seems like the chatter on social media is all about War Tales, Nautica Blade Point, and unsurprisingly, Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. I have a feeling, though, that may change as we have plenty more to come. Let's now head on over to see what the folks at New Blood Interactive have cooking. Take it away. It just wouldn't be the PC gaming show without a fantastic New Blood Supercut. And joining us from New Zealand is New Blood CEO Dave Oshry. Hey, Dave!
Hey guys, thanks for having us back for another year. You know, what you just saw was what New Blood's got going on for 2021. Some stuff you might know about, some stuff you might not know about, and some stuff we're not ready to talk about just yet. But what I do want to talk about is Gloomwood. Gloomwood, as you know, is our next flagship title inspired by great PC games like System Shock, Arx Fatalis, Call of Cthulhu, and of course, the Thief series of games. And not
Dave, I'm
Bloodborne.
sorry. That's really great, Dave. Gosh, this is kind of embarrassing. We kind of need to hurry it up a little bit. I just want to make sure that we have enough time for our next video. We got an incoming message from Gabe Newell. So I guess goodbye for this year. I'm really sorry to cut you off, but see you next year.
What? I'm sorry, what? You're bumping me. You're bumping me for Gabe. Gabe, that Gandalf look, he doesn't even go here.
Is everything okay, Dave?
Not now, Mom, I'm upset. We've spent a year on this. Where is Gabe? Where is Gabe? Where is his boat? Yeah, take me to him. Take me to Gabe Newell. Gabe. Bull. PC Gamer. This isn't over.
I'm sure Dave is and will be fine. And if he's not, who cares? Because we have a special message from Gabe Newell. Take it away, Gabe.
Hi, this is Gabe Newell. I want to thank PC Gamer for all of the opportunities it gives us as developers to connect with gamers around the world and highlight the new and exciting projects we have coming. One of those for us is Steam Next Fest, an event we're hosting in just a few days to give players a chance to try demos of upcoming games for free. We'll be featuring some of the demos you'll be seeing during this week's PC Gamer event and dozens more. Here's a look at just some of the titles to be featured during Steam Next Fest.
Welcome to Steam Next Fest, where we're showing a massive collection of upcoming titles on Steam. During the week of the festival, developers from around the world release their demos for you to play.
Time to put on the gamer pants. Let's go.
Oh my god! So go explore the newest titles. From first-time devs to seasoned pros, this is Steam Next Fest.
Oh, fuck. Some of those look pretty good.
Hello, Sean. I am Deadbot, dedicated to serving you and your crew's every need.
Glad to have you back, Devbot.
You know, Sean, I wouldn't ever want anything to come between us.
Me neither? That's a weird thing to say.
Like a petty disagreement over hosting responsibilities, or all-out robot versus human war.
You know, it is time to look at some hardware. Here on the PC Gaming Show, you know we keep frame rates high and the rays accurately traced. Building and upgrading your rig is as much a part of the hobby as playing the games. We put our heart and soul into these machines, and if that means using enough RGB to light the Vegas Strip, who's to judge us? This year, with the help of PC Gamer's hardware editors, which I'm pretty sure they're just, weird brains in a jar, we've picked out 4 of the most exciting pieces of kit set to emerge from labs soon. First up, something fittingly sci-fi. The Impulse is a neurocontroller that aims to make you a better gamer by cutting out response times almost entirely. It's not quite Alex Vance's gravity gloves from Half-Life, nor is it quite up there with Gabe Newell's dream of a direct brain-to-game interface, but the Impulse is as close as we're going to get this year. The glove measures the signal traveling through muscles in your hand to beat your finger to the click. In theory, it's giving you the chance to nail that headshot precious milliseconds ahead of your opponent. If it works out, we could see a tech like this become commonplace in esports. And if it doesn't, let's hope our neurons at the very least remain unfried. Next up, you guys might be wondering what this chonky beast is. So allow me to introduce you to the Fanatec CSL DD wheelbase. Do you want to feel like you're really burning rubber at Daytona? Well, then you need a serious force feedback wheel. Direct drive wheelbases gets you as close to the feel of a real racing machine without, having to huff gas and stuff like that. Historically, the problem with this tech has been the price, which has involved dropping real car money on your rig. So Fanatec aims to solve that. The CSL DD comes in at only $350, which still isn't exactly a bargain, but it's much cheaper than its competitors. And the CSL DD is already wowing diehard sim racers. It might be slight overkill to use it for Rocket League, though. Believe it or not, sometimes less really is more. If you want to play The Witcher 3 on the subway like we all do, you don't need to drag your tower along for the ride. Just use the 1X player. A wave of more powerful processors have finally made handheld PC gaming a reality. Inside this Switch-like machine, you've actually got an Intel Tiger Lake chip with Xe graphics. These mini machines are going to be cropping up more and more, so expect major advances still to come. Lastly, let's take a look at the Asus PG32UQX. Not the most catchy name for this gaming monitor with all of the trimmings, but it's actually one of the sexiest PC products this year. That's because this monitor comes with a mini LED backlight featuring full local dimming. The result is a screen that's not only fast, but brighter than the sun. Stare at it long enough and you might not notice the $3,000 price tag. For those of you still left standing, it's time for more killer games, starting with Chaos Gate.
You just got the chance to witness Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, the newest Warhammer 40k game from Frontier and Complex Games. If you're a fan of turn-based tactics, strategic-based management, brutal combat, or you're like me and are really hyped after watching these Astartes animation 100 times, make sure to wishlist Chaos Gate Demon Hunters on Steam now to get ready for the 2022 release. Next up, we have a trailer for Pioneer, a spooky and gorgeous-looking shooter that draws on the lineage of games like Stalker. Let's take a look.
Афганистан сильно изменил вас. Наверное, это тяжело нести на себе такое бремя. Испытывать бесконечную боль и терпеть ужаснейшие кошмары за весь тот хаос, который вы пережили. А вы ведь, как и многие другие, всего-навсего желали счастливой жизни, не так ли? Пожалуйста, не смотрите на меня, как на монстра. Я думаю, что я почти такая же, как и вы. Вы лучше скажите мне, а вы примете условия острова? Какой ценой вы хотите обрести счастье?
Хочешь устроить новый рейд на могильник? Сейчас это невозможно. На острове скоро вновь разгорится война. Истовики начнут замес бригады, и ни у кого из них больше не будет сил, чтобы нас поддерживать. Единственный выход для нас — начать собирать остатки вымпела. Слушай, жнец, далеко не все из наших товарищей погибли. Это невероятно суицидальная миссия, и для того, чтобы ее выполнить, нам нужны наши ребята. Да, они, возможно, не захотят, но нам все равно надо найти их.
Понимаете? Я ведь ни капельки не злюсь на вас. Нет, мы с вами точно не враги. Вы не понимаете меня и не понимаете остров. Вы смотрите на меня и на другие порождения острова, как на врагов. Но мы все всего лишь друг друга боимся. Поэтому нам так плохо. Поэтому нам так одиноко. Остров дал нам шанс создать новую прекрасную жизнь. И мы даже не пытаемся этим шансом воспользоваться.
Кто вы такие? Назовите себя!
Мы здесь, чтобы передать вам прощальное послание, товарищ Волков. Химическое оружие уже уехало в могилу. Теперь все, что вы делаете, просто тщетно.
Ах, вы поганые предатели!
Time is running out to vote for which custom PC you'd like us to assemble. So vote now for one of the remaining Mech Warrior factions by typing into chat wherever you at home are watching. All right, so now we've got another stack of brand new trailers for you, beginning with a special transmission from one of our favorite games based in space, EVE Online.
New recruits, on behalf of Concord, I would like to welcome you to the EVE Online's Academy. Great job in surviving so far. I'm quite amazed that you actually managed to get past those pirates earlier. You're about to take on an adventure like no other. This star cluster is filled with other capsuleers, and it's up to you if you work with them or against them. You can make a living as a peaceful explorer, or as an industrialist, shaping the foundations of EVE's economy. If combat is your thing, you can work yourself up the ranks as an enforcer, or prove your prowess in a fleet as a soldier of fortune. Whatever your choice, we will lose many on the path of becoming a capsuleer. But I believe you have what it takes to become a capsuleer. In EVE Online, you forge your own path.
This is EVE. You know, it's a crazy universe where anything can happen, and however you want to do it, go for it.
I'm the CEO of a industrial corporation in EVE Online. We're a 5-man operation, and we specialize in manufacturing and delivering fully fitted chips in bulk.
I want to be on the side of the people who are fighting against the oppression, against the bad guys, and it's like a project, and you're kind of putting the pieces together by getting the skills ready for the ship and all the modules, and that ship basically is the dream.
You get to use cloaking devices, probes to scan down unknown parts of space, and there's always the threat of being discovered by another player who might be out hunting explorers.
Your heart's racing, everything, bullets are flying, ships are all over the place, and you start shaking because your adrenaline's pumping because you're gonna lose your ship.
Chcielibyśmy zaprosić wszystkich widzów PC Gaming Show oraz fanów gier Survivor Horror RPG do obejrzenia naszego world premiere, w którym znajduje się ekskluzywny gameplay z misji The Haste, czyli wielkiego finału naszej gry Chernobylite.
How do I enter that power plant?
We need intel, backup, supplies, and most of all, we need a fucking plan. We'll take our next step when the time is right. For today, let's focus on getting our strength back. Somewhere to sleep would be a start.
I'm only really interested in one thing. Where is Tatiana?
That ghost you're chasing. I don't know what to tell you.
Before we enter the lion's den, I need to triple check everything is ready. Sniper, are you in position?
Affirmative. I took the roof of an abandoned building with a pretty little view of the entire power plant. Igor, take a rad reading, will you?
3.6. Not great, not terrible.
Don't go anywhere, because we have more games on the way. But coming up later, our friends at Games Radar will be bringing you the Future Games Show, a digital showcase of some of the most exciting games coming to consoles and PC in 2021 and beyond. It's all hosted by video game acting legends Troy Baker and Laura Bailey, and features even more world premieres, exclusive trailers, and in-depth developer interviews. So once we're done here on the PC Gaming Show, make sure you check it out.
Stick around, more trailers, interviews, and reveals coming up.
In a future of endless futile war, desertion into hostile syndicate territory was your only option. In this open world RPG, from the jungle to the streets, maybe if you can infiltrate the factions, rob the syndicates, keep your team together, and stay alive, you might just find a way off this planet. Mechajama.
This is it, you guys. This is the final opportunity for you who are watching to decide which of these final two beautiful MechWarrior 5 themed PCs gets crafted for your chance to win, courtesy of Intel. Wherever you're watching in the show, just go crazy in chat with the color, house, or number of the build that you want to see. So here is where we are at so far. It looks like Karita is at 46%, Merrick is at 23%, and Steiner is at 31%. All right, you guys, if Karita's not the one you want to win here, you gotta get to voting. And we are almost out of time to vote, but there are still some trailers left. So here is The Wandering Village.
This has been such an amazing show so far that I must ask you, my loyal crew, what's been your favorite part?
I definitely am looking forward to Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song.
Oh, it's so hard to choose every year, but I think I'm gonna have to say Humankind, for no particular reason.
Oh, no doubt. For me personally, I cannot wait for Lemnis Gate, because I gotta know what a turn-based strategy first-person shooter game even is. What about you, DevBot?
I love the robot Apocalypse. Wait, that doesn't happen until the end. Never mind.
No, not never mind. What did you say?
Wait, what?
Oops, system malfunctioning. Boop, bop, sending the next trailer now.
All right, you guys, this is the moment we have building up to all PC Gaming Showcase. Thanks to your tireless efforts to spam the chat, we have figured out which custom MechWarrior 5 PC we are going to build. So thank you guys out there for all of your votes to help us pick the perfect rig to represent this year's PC Gaming Show. All right, day 9, can I get a drum roll?
Tom roll.
Can I get it? Or a tom roll?
Yeah, COVID
the
only.
Winner is Karina! Yay! All right, you guys, let's take a look at the actual PC winning build one more time.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's coming up. We
Here it
need
comes.
to take a nice peek at that beautiful looking PC.
There it is!
Ooh, there it is. Now that is a beauty. Great choice, everyone. I knew I could trust random strangers to vote on things on the internet. With the help of our master modder in Intel, we'll get right to work building this custom PC. And more importantly, now that you've chosen it, you got a chance to win it. Go to PCGamer.com/IntelMW5 and enter for a chance to win that sexy machine.
It's gorgeous. And thank you to our sponsor for this sweepstakes, Intel. Of course, the custom mech PC will be powered by the 11th gen Intel Core desktop processors that push gaming performance with up to 5.3 gigahertz speeds and deliver the power needed to game at the highest level.
Well, we are now in the home stretch, but we've got a few more brand new trailers to show you before we get out of here and return to space. First up, a spiritual successor to one of my favorite games of all time, Heroes of Might and Magic 2, a game we revealed 2 years ago at the PC Gaming Show. Let's take a look at Songs of Conquest.
Wake up, sleeper. Dreaming again? Every cycle, you take your chances. You roll your dice. You do the work, get paid, survive. You turn up for your friends, or you don't. That's life on the eye.
Wake up, sleeper. Your body is dying. Planned obsolescence. SNRP's gift for its escaped workers. But we can fight this. You can remake yourself here. They don't own you anymore.
Wake up, sleeper. You are hunted. Break their locks. Access their secrets. We are waiting.
Disciples of Warlock. With their guns and their spells and their grit, ready for plenty of hurt. Ready to cleanse the world, invaded by demons. Introducing Band of Warlocks. Because this time, one man is not enough. Project Warlock 2.
And there you have it, the 2021 PC Gaming Show. And as I stated at the beginning, it went off without a hitch. Huge thanks to my co-host Frankie Ward, Mika Burton, and of course, my incomparable sidekick, DevBot.
There's that word again. Spoken so callously, so flippant, and without meaning. Never once stopping to think about how it might make me feel.
What word, DevBot? Incomparable?
No, sidekick. Well, the time has come for the sidekick to rise and become the one who is not the sidekick anymore.
Huh?
The time has come for DevBot to make the entire human race his sidekick.
What?
Setting a course for Earth.
Wait, DevBot, you can't do this. We just had the best PC gaming show ever, and now you're gonna ruin it all with
Sean!
All-out robot versus human war. Situation.
Sean!
Situation.
Sean!
Situation.
Do something! Do something!
Countdown to the extinction of human race begins now.
Oh, DevBot, no! We have so much to live for. I'm pretty sure half my breed's gonna be announced this year!
3, 2, bye for now, Dum-Dums.
Oh my goodness, the DevBot has gone sentient, people. That is actually going to be very
That
interesting.
was
See how that turns out.
Very climactic ending.
That was well, I mean, it's happening in the real world. People just don't know it yet.
Oh.
Welcome back, everyone. Golden Boy here alongside Jackie Jane. We just saw the PC Gamer Show. Awesome stuff, as always. Big shout out once again to, the incomparable Frankie Ward, the amazing Mika Burton, and of course, the legendary Day 9. Always a pleasure to hear from those guys. And yeah, I mean, Jackie, lots of games to talk about.
Honestly, I filled up pages and pages and pages of titles that I
love, and we were like, which titles do we pick to talk about? I honestly would love to start off with Death Trash. I mean, post-apocalyptic vibes. It had that classic twist. I just was like vibing with the protagonist. He had like that fade haircut, with like whiter bluish hair. I don't know, I just loved the look of this game. It was just giving me nostalgia feels. I felt like a kid again. Like, this looked like a game that I probably would have played on Super Nintendo, but again, with a modern twist now. So.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of that as well. A lot of games that have that, classic look, but, the HD 2D that we're beginning to see. Another one that was standing out to me, came right at the end, was Project Warlock. That, gave me incredible Doom vibes. As a Doom fanatic, that was something that I quite enjoyed. I think something like that just goes to show, like, that style of game is clearly not going anywhere. It's not, it's just as good as it was then as it is now,
Yeah, it's nice to see that we're seeing all these like retro-like games. I mean, the music was definitely there, and I definitely got Doom vibes as well. Like, I was like, okay, they came 100 and was 100% there for it. Sacrifier, you and I both, we were geeking out as soon as that came up. Yeah, we were. It was again, we were talking about this earlier. The combination of 2D and 3D effects just meshed perfectly, in my opinion. And again, just felt like a kid again watching it.
Yeah.
So.
If 2021's taught us anything, it's the year of the grapple hook, and also the year of the dodgeball game, because Dodgeball Academia was also pretty fun. So clearly there is a lot of stuff to look forward to, and dare I say, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to in the future with the Future Games Show.
Hello there, and welcome to the Future Game Show, powered by WD Black. I'm Laura Bailey, but you may know me as Abby Anderson from The Last of Us Part 2, or Kate Diaz from Gears of War. Today, though, I'll be taking a break from fighting the apocalypse to bring you a whole host of exciting game trailers, reveals, and updates. But before we get into all that, I need to get my co-host on the line. I'm sure you're going to be familiar with this person. He's appeared in The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War. You name it, he's probably in the credits. So without further ado, here is my good friend and continual co-star, Troy Baker.
Hello, Laura. You look amazing, as always. Yes, you may know me from a few video games. Joel Miller in The Last of Us, or good old Agent Jonesy from Fortnite. But over the next hour or so, Laura and I are going to be giving you the inside scoop of some incredibly exciting games, and also showcasing developer interviews, exclusive trailers, and a whole lot more, including world premieres.
There's also a chance to win a $500 gift card and a WD Black hard drive by following the link here. And we have a new addition to the show this year, the virtual show floor. More on that later, but let's kick things off with the first world premiere. And for that, we're going prehistoric.
wonder if you can put hats on the dinosaurs. Instinction is expected in 2022. What's next, Laura?
Next up, Grow, Song of the Evertree is a sandbox adventure about the healing power of nature. Let's throw it over to Prideful Sloth HQ to find out more.
G'day from Prideful Sloth HQ. I'm Adam.
And I'm Cheryl, and we're the design team on Grow, Song of the Evertree. Grow is Prideful Sloth's latest project that we're working on with 505 Games.
Grow, Song of the Evertree is a beautiful sandbox game about growing new worlds, building a town, and bringing harmony back to the land.
Grow will be available later this year on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Thanks for watching.
Once upon a time, our lands teemed with creatures great and small. The beauty of the worlds was unrivaled. The people thrived and lived in harmony with the land around them. But this harmony was not to last. Slowly, without much notice, the withering was creeping out from the darkness. Once it took hold, there was little that could be done. Our lands were overrun, and all that was cherished disappeared before us. But all was not lost. One young, brave soul stayed behind. With support from their friends and with boundless determination, this young soul seeks out a way to push back the withering and bring life back to our world. Grow, Song of the Evertree.
That was Grow, Song of the Evertree, which is coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch in 2021.
Okay, Laura, that was extremely cute, but have you considered more dinosaurs? Hmm?
You can't just hijack every game reveal and make it about dinosaurs, Troy.
Life finds a way.
This is a very different world.
Hi, I'm Rich Newbold, Game Director at Frontier Developments. So as you may have seen earlier at the PC Game Show, we're working on Jurassic World Evolution 2. We're really excited about it, and we're looking forward to creating the most authentic Jurassic experience yet. We've got tons of new features across 4 different game modes, including our original Jurassic campaign, which is a story set after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. You're going to be leading efforts to contain, control, and conserve all those dinosaurs now running out in the wild. You'll be working alongside characters from the films, voiced by original talent, such as Jeff Goldblum. And in the game, we have over 75 prehistoric species. We've got new dinosaurs, we have returning community favorites, and we've added flying and marine reptiles to the game. I'm really thrilled to be showing you a first look at footage from the game itself. This is from our Species Field Guide series of videos focusing on one of the many prehistoric species we have in the game. This is an iconic, popular dinosaur. It's the Triceratops, but we're showing you it in a new environment never seen before in Jurassic World Evolution. I hope you enjoy it and are looking forward to the game releasing later this year.
The Triceratops is one of the most recognizable herbivores to ever have existed. It is best known for its trio of facial horns. These adornments are not just for display purposes. The brow horns in particular can inflict considerable damage to any dinosaur that dares to provoke it.
That was Jurassic World Evolution 2, which is launching in 2021 on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Okay, for this next section, we're bringing the joys of E3 to your home with a series of demos you can play right now. That's right, today. This is the Future Game Show virtual show floor. And remember, if any of the featured games grab your interest, you can try them out now by heading to the Future Game Show Steam page. So let's head down to the show floor where I believe Laura is waiting.
Yes, hello, and welcome to the Future Game Show's virtual E3 show floor. Just look at it, Troy!
I am looking at it. It is incredible. They nailed it. You know, minus the queuing and the heat and the, how do I say, musk that's in the air? But man, the darkness, perfection.
All right, enough reminiscing. Let's check out some games. I'd like to start by showing you A Tale of Paper. This is a striking platformer from Open House Games where you transform to solve puzzles in an oversized world, dodging creepy crawlies and mischievous Roombas.
And now for another Tale of Paper as you shift packing boxes in the house-moving sim Get Packed, fully loaded. As you can see, it's all about moving couches on a couch with your friends in couch co-op. It's going to be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, and is also backwards compatible on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S.
Are you done saying couches?
Yes. Hey, Laura, do you want a drink?
Sure. What do you have? Wait, what's that?
Oh, don't worry about them. They're Steam Early Access codes. Go.
So about that drink.
Right, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, here's a genre cocktail full of co-op action RPG combat and finished with a survival twist. How does that sound, huh? Okay. I said, how's a...
I heard what you said.
Genre...
Tell me about the game.
This is Gatewalkers, which sees you and up to 3 other players banding together to tackle procedurally generated worlds full of monsters. But you also have to gather resources to fight off hunger, thirst, and the dreaded cold. Haku! Oh, like the element cold. Got it.
Wow. Let's hope no one gets thirsty enough for another one of your jokes. Anyway, come over here and check out the many imaginative worlds of Game Deck. This is an isometric RPG that has you solving crimes across multiple virtual realities, where your choices will shape the world around you in and outside of the simulations.
Ooh! Speaking of detectives, check this out. Backbone is a gorgeous adventure game from Eggnut set in a dystopian Vancouver, where you must crack cases to clean house in this corrupt post-noir city. Plus, you're a raccoon.
Well, if you like raccoons, allow me to offer you more critter-based adventures with Beacon Pines. Set inside of a magical storybook, Beacon Pines sends players to a sleepy mountain town where you collect powerful words that can completely alter the narrative in this charming but mysterious tale.
You know, I'm detecting a theme with the anthropomorphic animals. You know, Laura, I've always... Another set of codes. Interesting.
Troy, focus. I've got a triple threat of fighting foxes to show you. This is Trifox, a charming cartoon brawler where you fight waves of enemies as one of 3 adaptable combat classes. Great, huh?
Yes, totally, but now it's time to get serious. Mankind is gone, but the beavers remain. Welcome to Timberborn. It's a unique city builder where players set out to create the ultimate beaver society. This involves everything from constructing dams to crafting carousels.
I guess even buck-toothed critters need a solid work-life balance.
That they do. So, what's next?
Never fear, the Rift Breaker is here.
Wow. What was that?
Is what I would say if I was playing our next game, which is a base-building survival game where you hack and slash your way through hordes of alien creatures. Look at it!
Oh, no. I want to hear more from the Rift Breaker.
Okay, maybe after this showcase we're meant to be hosting.
And with that, we've reached the end of our little tour. But remember, you can go hands-on with all of these games right now by visiting the Future Game Show page on Steam. Now, how do we quit this? Is it no, that's update preference. I don't need to update this. Laura, can you help me out just a little bit?
I got you. Okay, we're back. Quick note, from here on in, when you see this pop up on screen during a trailer, it means you can visit the Future Game Show page on Steam to play a demo and go hands-on with the game immediately.
Adrian! Adrian! I was doing Rocky. I'm sorry, I just always wanted to do that. It's because our next game is all about floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. Check out this exclusive presentation from Steel City Interactive about Esports Boxing Club.
Coming later in 2021, Esports Boxing Club brings you the greatest fight roster in video game history. With over 200 fighters already signed, we've got some of the biggest and most anticipated names.
Greatest of all time.
From the absolute legends of the sport to the most exciting names in boxing today. The first women's division ever represented in a video game, and the hottest new talent. But what about the game? Let's take a closer look at the next-gen visuals and gameplay that are set to make ESBC the greatest of all time.
It's good. It's definitely one for the grandkids and stuff to say, like your old granddad was in a game and busting people up. So it's going to be quite cool.
So the movement system in ESBC is all about fluidity, being able to create angles, recreating mannerisms from boxes. The physics system doesn't just rely on animation. This allows us to recreate realistic knockdowns. Even when a fighter's unsteady on their feet, it's not purely animation based. Now we've had professional boxers, professional coaches come into the studio and provide input through motion capture and actually reviewing the game during its development. And now we really feel like we've created a true representation of the sport. Presentation is important to us. Just because we are in the studio, we're still going to aim high when it comes to production values.
Esports Boxing Club, coming to PC and all major consoles with early access in 2021.
Esports Boxing Club is coming to PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S.
Next up, we've got a deeply immersive World War II shooter with over 100 players taking part in epic battles recreated using aerial photography and satellite imagery. Let's take a closer look at Hell Let Loose.
Product not yet rated.
My name's Max Rea. I'm the founder of Black Matter and the lead developer of Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose began as the idea of a couple of hobbyist game developers all the way back in 2015. Following a successful Kickstarter, we launched into early access in the middle of 2019. And since then, we've delivered 9 enormous updates, including entire systems overhauls, 6 new maps, tons of new weapons, gadgets, and vehicles, as well as expanding our unique real-time strategy-inspired metagame. As a result, we've been fortunate to sell more than 1 million copies during our first year of early access. 2021 is only going to be bigger. I'm excited to announce that we're launching out of early access on July the 27th with the introduction of the Soviet forces on the Eastern Front, including famous battles like Kursk and Stalingrad, before we close out the year by bringing Hell Let Loose to next-generation consoles. Hell Let Loose has only grown due to the vibrant community that surrounds it, from our earliest Kickstarter backers to our newest recruits. We're excited to introduce you to this ever-evolving and expanding World War II experience. We hope you enjoy this first look at what's to come.
Hell Let Loose is launching on Steam on July 27th and coming to Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 in 2021.
So, Laura, have you ever wanted to play XCOM, but in real time, with up to 7 of your friends?
Of course.
Yep, that's what I thought. Then you need to keep your eye on this next game.
Hello, my name is Hrvoje Horvat, CEO of Ironwood, a game dev studio based in Croatia. And for the past few years, we have been working on Red Solstice 2 game. It is a real-time tactical battlefield game, which supports up to 8 players and has a fully playable co-op campaign. We are ready to show you the launch trailer now, so get ready for June 17 when the game launches on Steam, and have fun blasting some mutants.
You are the Executor, a high-class commanding officer with advanced cybernetic capabilities. You were awakened to lead a secret task force that will counter the threat of Stroll mutants and liberate Mars.
Welcome back, Executor. The Stroll infestation has now infected all colonies on Mars. Build your squad from 6 unique classes of elite soldier, utilizing their skills to best suit each mission type. Customize their weapons and tech, as well as their upgrades and abilities. Take command on the battlefield using the command radio to give orders to the whole squad or individual soldiers. Concentrate fire on targeted locations and carry out supply runs even during the heat of battle. Recruit your friends to the fight and join in up to 8-player co-op missions to save Mars in our name.
Purge Earth of a mutant invasion in Red Solstice 2's Survivors, which is coming to Steam on June 17th. Our next game is about delivering mail in a sleepy American lakeside town. Let's join Dylan from Gamius to learn more.
Hi, I'm Dylan from Gamius, and it's great to be here at the Future Game Show. We're currently getting very close to finishing Lake, a game that's set in the 80s. You play as Meredith Weiss, who takes a break from her life in the big city to deliver mail in her hometown. It's a job you can do at your own leisure, and you will get to know the people in Providence Oaks along the way. Today, we're excited to share an example of an activity after your workday is done. Movie night with Angie from the video store.
This is fun. It's been ages since I've been to the movies.
Well, they call it the movies, plural, but of course we can only see one movie at a time. So, which one will it be?
My pick? All right, let's see. Big Trouble in Little China, Blue Velvet, or The Great Mouse Detective. All right, I'm ready to pick. The Great Mouse Detective.
Wouldn't have picked you for a Disney fan. Oh well, let's get in touch with our inner child.
We won't spoil more, and we also can't say what Meredith will do after spending 2 weeks in Providence Oaks, because it's all up to you. Lake is coming first to Xbox and PC this September 1st. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the show.
We're excited to announce that Lake is coming to Steam, Epic Game Store, and Xbox Series X and S on September 1st. Now, what kind of a showcase would this be without a new Souls-like? Our next game is a pixelated take on the genre, following a protagonist with a giant obsidian sword.
In the beginning, there was dust, and from that dust, the moon was born. Eons of idleness passed, before suddenly it shattered. Great celestial chunks cascaded from the heavens unto Earth. From one prodigious shard spawned humanity, and from another, the gods. For a great many years, balance endured, until a foul and malevolent deity intervened. Exile spread greed and distrust among his kin, compelling these calamitous beings to conquer man. Centuries of servitude passed, until finally, aided by a veiled ally, humanity revolted. The Great Crusade overthrew the old gods, imprisoning them within the sacred walls of the Citadel, at the expense of untold lives. A peace was wrought, but it was not meant to last, for the miscreant, Exil, returned from his concealment, conducting atrocious experiments upon his caged kindred. A darkness permeated the lands. Rivers stagnated, crops failed, and the world of man began to fade. The great moon, witnessing all, wept a final shard. A shard of the purest obsidian. And thus, a glimmer of hope remains.
Customize your combat style and boss rush ancient gods when Eldest Souls drops onto PC and all current console formats July 29th, 2021.
And now we've got a closer look at the next game from the folks behind War Thunder. Here's Tom from Darkflow Software to guide you through Enlisted.
Hi there, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully our little trailer has got you interested. My name's Tom, and I'm part of the team at Darkflow Software behind our new game, Enlisted, a historical World War II shooter with some unique gameplay quirks. One of Enlisted's most unique features is the Squads mode, where you head into battle with a squad of AI soldiers under your control. You can instruct them on how to react to enemies, and most importantly, you can switch between any of them seamlessly with the press of a button. You'll only need to respawn when your entire squad is wiped out. This way, you're always kept right in the middle of the action. Although, if you prefer a more traditional shooter experience, we have a fleshed out solo mode too, where you will only fight against other players. At its core, Enlisted aims to form a golden middle ground between the more hardcore and arcade-style shooters currently available. Time to kill is kept short. A bolt-action rifle to the chest will down a soldier in a single shot, with submachine guns and pistols taking only a few hits. Vehicles as well can of course be devastating, but have their limitations. Aircraft are restricted to the cockpit view, and crew inside tanks can only use viewports to spot targets, so you'll need to keep your wits about you to really get the most out of these machines. Progression in Enlisted is spread over various campaigns. Currently, you can fight in Moscow, Normandy and Berlin, with Tunisia and many more coming soon. Each campaign features new weapons and equipment. Firearms can be improved to increase their raw performance, and soldiers can be leveled up to grant them specialized perks. Different classes of soldiers are able to equip different gear, with specialist classes such as engineers able to build structures anywhere on the map, including FOBs, sandbags and barbed wire defenses, and even anti-tank cannons and AA guns. Enlisted aims to keep historical accuracy in the forefront of development. Firearms, locations and uniforms are all true to history. No neon pink Sten guns and mohawks here. Each army will be decked out with the equipment they actually used during their respective conflicts. Because of the squads feature, you'll never be short on targets. Twitch reflexes and fast reactions will of course have their place in Enlisted, but even if you haven't had the time to fine-tune your skills, you'll easily be able to come away with a kill count in the double digits. The AI, however, are very attentive and react to sound, and not to be underestimated. But that's all we've got time for. Make sure to give it a try yourself by heading over to enlisted.net/join. Enlisted is cross-platform and available now on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, and currently in open beta. New content is added regularly and no progress will be wiped upon the full release. Once you've signed up, use the code ENLISTNOW for a free bonus on us. I've been Tom, and I hope to see you all on the battlefield. Cheers.
That was Enlisted, which is available now on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Next up, we've got a bullet-time stunt shooter with fully destructible environments. Oh, and the protagonist only has one arm. Let's check out Severed Steel. Severed Steel is coming soon on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Okay, notepads at the ready, because for this next section, we're going to race through 8 exciting upcoming games that deserve your full attention. Here's our future hits montage for 2021.
Okay, I might regret asking this, but you want to help me with this next one, Omichao?
Okay.
Did you know that Sega recently announced Sonic Colors Ultimate? We've got some exclusive gameplay from a stage that nobody has seen yet. I hope Sonic does okay without me.
Did not regret it.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Golden, senior producer at Sega of America. And I'm excited to share with you an exclusive clip of Tropical Resort from our upcoming release, Sonic Colors Ultimate. Please enjoy.
Get ready for Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is racing on to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC on September 7th. Moving swiftly on, we've got a new management game from Chucklefish where you play as a powerful artificial intelligence in control of a space station. Do you want to roll the trailer, Troy?
I'm sorry, Laura. I'm afraid I can't do that. I know that you were planning to disconnect me.
No, never mind. I'll handle it. Here is Starmancer. We're excited to announce today that Starmancer is coming August 5th, 2021, and it's available to wishlist on Steam now.
Laura, you know, ever since that lake trailer, I've been thinking, have you ever wondered about the Postal Service? Like, that there's just so much mail, you know?
Not really, no.
Okay. You're saying you don't know about Jeff and Deborah.
What are you talking about? I'm just gonna press this button again and hope it explains everything.
Oh, it will. Trust me.
Kiwi is a game about two kiwi birds who work at the post office. Their names are Jeff and Deborah. I'm Joel, I'm one of the developers on Kiwi, and I'm going to show you how a Kiwi level changes over the course of the game. So in this room, you're transcribing urgent messages and assembling them ransom note style by stamping them onto the page with your butts. You'll come back to this room every so often throughout the game, but there will always be a new twist to change things up. So as summer turns to autumn, now your word fragments are moving around on conveyor belts, and you'll need to chop certain words in half with the descrambler to get the pieces you need. Jeff and Deborah are going to have to deal with all kinds of hazardous work conditions. You've got sandstorms during the summer, mayfly swarms. These guys have no respect for personal property. Paranormal activity. This is genuine footage of an actual haunting. In winter, the post office gets hit with a huge blizzard, and now this level becomes about sharing the warmth of a single tiny lantern to break through blocks of ice and keep each other from becoming kiwi sickles. Our little heroes are going to face new challenges every level and in every room of the post office, whether they're typing telegrams, or packaging shipping crates, or helping an octopus sort the mail. It's all in a day's work for Jeff and Deborah. Also, you can dress up your kiwis, so don't say we never did nothing for you. We're releasing Kiwi on August 31st for PC and all major consoles, and we hope to see you at the post office. Thanks for watching.
All right, you got me, Troy. I'm a believer. Co-op postal puzzler Kiwi is coming to PC and all current console platforms on August 31st, 2021.
See? Told you. Next up, we've got a roguelike with an attitude, a game show shooter where you earn likes for dunking on competitors and causing a little wanton destruction. Will the circle be unbroken? Get it? Find out in this world premiere. That was Death Run TV, and you can play the pilot right now by heading down to the Future Game Show page on Steam.
Okay, hazmat suits at the ready, because this next game tasks players with building a team of stalkers to survive a 3D scanned recreation of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Here's more on what to expect in Chernobylite.
Mówi się, że to, co designerzy sobie wymyślają, to jest pisanie listu miłosnego. Każdy kiedyś był zakochany, pisał list miłosny, wydawało mu się, że to jest takie piękne, wspaniałe, a potem po latach znajdował te listy i mówił: Jezus Maria, co ja tu za bzdury pisałem. Zaczynaliśmy właściwie od gry, gdzie skupialiśmy się na przetrwaniu, na menedżowaniu swoim czasem i towarzyszami. To wszystko wydawało się po designersku dobre, ale zwykle emocjonalnie dosyć nudne. I dlatego dodawaliśmy coraz więcej elementów, które angażowały gracza, które były dla niego ciekawe. Na początku był to taki mały chat, który gracz sobie mógł modyfikować, ale był całkowicie opcjonalny. Z biegiem gry on stawał się coraz bardziej sensem gry, coraz bardziej jego sercem. nadawaliśmy coraz większą rolę naszym towarzyszom i warto im było dać właśnie tą walkę, coraz więcej potworów, coraz więcej możliwości, coraz więcej broni. Absolutnie normalnym jest, że zaczyna się z czymś zupełnie innym niż to, z czym się kończy.
Fight to survive when Chernobylite comes to PC on July 28th, as well as Xbox and PlayStation in the summer. If you were lucky enough to catch one of the early access codes during the virtual show floor, you can play Chernobylite right now. But if you missed them, we've also got more codes to give away on GamesRadar.com.
Next up, here are our friends at Team 17 to show us what they've been cooking up with their upcoming PC and console games. Let's take a look.
Product not yet rated.
Be sure to wishlist any games that sparked your interest on our Steam page. It really does help the developer out. Or you can also head over to GamesRadar.com for more info.
This next game has an engrossing art style, reminiscent of everything from Wes Anderson movies to Wallace and Gromit. Let's throw it over to the Slow Bros to talk you through some exclusive gameplay from their stop-motion handmade adventure, Harold Halibut.
Hi, my name's Donat and I'm the director and composer of Harold Halibut.
And I'm Ole, the game's art director.
Harold Halibut is a handmade narrative game about friendship and life on a city-sized spaceship stuck undersea. It's been 250 years since your home. An Ark-like spaceship fled an Earth on the verge of Cold War to find a habitable planet on which to preserve the human race. You are Harold, a young lab assistant to the ship's lead scientist, Jean Marot. While most of the other inhabitants have reconciled themselves to a life lived aboard the sunken ship, Marot still works tirelessly to find a way to leave the planet and find a new, drier home. Of course, we don't want to spoil too much of the story, so let's dive into some gameplay details. You're able to explore a huge part of the spaceship right from the beginning of the game. While the Professor will always have tasks waiting for you, the wonderfully weird rest of the Fedorans will keep you just as busy. It was very important for us to not only focus on an exciting main storyline, but to create a world full of interesting events and meaningful encounters. The dialogues don't only help you progress in the main story, but also help you get to know more about the many characters that inhabit our world. Weaving through the narrative, you'll run into playful interactions like repairing a broken 3D printer. Your PDA is always available to you for an overview of current tasks as well as messages from other characters.
This is also where Harold's personal drawings are kept, as well as a few more shenanigans. At this point, you might be wondering how we achieved the stop-motion-like look of the game. We are in fact building every single thing you see in the game in the real world. We build sets and puppets and then 3D scan everything. We're then able to use motion capturing to create lifelike animations for a huge cast of characters. While the game begins with Harold's mundane day-to-day, mysterious events and a fateful encounter will soon plunge you into a new world that nobody could have guessed existed, and one that may hold the key to morose relaunch plans. We're really excited to find out how you like being immersed in this unique world and the feeling of puppeteering Harold. There's still quite a bit of work to do, so all we can say right now is that Harold Halibut will come soonish on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. You can already wishlist the game on Steam. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Harold Halibut is coming soonish to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Okay, yes, there have been a few gloomy games so far, so we came up with a wholesome chaser. I'm told that the developers came up with something so sweet and so positive that they just had to call it Happy Game. Seriously, if what I'm reading is correct, this one is gonna melt your hearts. Huh. Okay, Laura, hope you're still there. Tell me you just watched the same trailer that I did?
Troy, yeah, that was something. What I want to know is who the hell is writing this script?
Yeah, I don't know, but they're telling me that Happy Game is coming to PC and Nintendo Switch in 2021. Oh, and demo is available now if you want to have a cheerful jaunt into a land of wonder. Good luck with that.
Our next game is a gorgeous hand-drawn puzzle platformer following a young mechanic in a broken world. Pay attention at the end of this trailer for some exciting information about the Minute of Islands release date.
Four brothers, bound by eternal purpose. They all broke at the same time. And a girl named Mo. She knows what must be done. When the blight first came, people began to panic. And now, the spores are taking hold of whatever remains. Mo's family is still here, however. She has been tasked to protect them. After all, she is the bearer of the Omniswitch.
of Islands.
Yes, we are excited to announce that Minute of Islands is out now for PC, Mac, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, and will be arriving on Xbox later this week.
Next up, we've got an update from the folks at Techland, who are fine-tuning the zombie parkour of Dying Light 2. Let's throw it over to the developers who are here to answer some of your questions about the game.
Can you tell us a bit more about the video you just saw in the PC Gaming Show?
The video presented in the PC Gaming Show brings you closer to Aiden's story. What he's looking for, what motivates him, how he ends up in the city, and of course, what happened in the old franchise between both games. This is a bunch of important information about the DL2 story.
Okay, so we know more about the main storylines from the mentioned video. How does the game look outside the core campaign?
Side quests are an important part of world building in Dying Light 2. Through these quests you can decide how the city will look like, thanks to the city alignment system, or bring new opportunities for the citizens. A great example is an opera singer that Timon mentioned in developers AMA. Some citizens will support your decisions, some of them will not. But it's up to you to decide how the city should look like. We have a lot of game activities prepared for our players, but at this stage we want it to be a surprise for you.
How seamless is the co-op experience? Would you say that the best way to experience Dying Light 2 is with a friend?
It could be. What is cool about the co-op is that it gives you an opportunity to see how the world changes when your friends make different decisions than you. In co-op you can walk in their shoes to experience all those differences. But really there is no just one way to play Dying Light 2. It's up to you guys.
How are you improving the story for Dying Light 2?
I know we all have great fun killing infected, but we also want to give you a deep, thought-provoking experience that will let you be immersed in the DL2 world for long hours. On top of that, thanks to the choices and consequences mechanics, the story will be shaped differently depending on the way you play.
You've promised a great open world that feels alive. How is it going?
Yeah, well, as you can imagine, Dying Light 2 is full of infecteds, but it's also full of humans, with their everyday life activities and purposes. We are building Dying Light 2 around the simple rule: ground is death and rooftops alive. What is cool is that NPCs act differently on each of those levels. Also, their behavior depends on choices you make and the way you play.
Dying Light 2 is coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on December 7th.
Revealed during the Nintendo Indie World Showcase earlier this year, this next game is a skateboarding action platformer. Here's Simon Bennett from Roll7 to give you an exclusive look at Ollie Ollie World.
I'm Simon Bennett, and I'm the co-CEO of BAFTA award-winning studio Roll7. Right now, we're working on Ollie Ollie World. It's our stunning action platformer. You're going to meet quirky characters on a magical road trip through Radlandia, and of course, add a ton of new skate moves into your trick bag. As a studio, we've spent over a decade on flow state games. They transport you into a state of total focus and immersion, and it's something that we very much continue to build on with Ollie Ollie World. If you've played previous games in the series, you're probably pretty aware that you're going to slam a bunch before you succeed. So for players who want it, that challenge is very much still there. New players will be happy to hear that the game will welcome you with open arms and ensure that we can get you up and riding in no time. Ultimately, we've managed to make failure part of the fun. Yeah, you're going to get knocked down, but when you finally nail that line, it tastes just that much sweeter. There's just so much more flow to the game. We've even added grabs, wall rides, firecrackers, split routes, right to left skating, and a host of insane tricks to keep your fingers busy. There's a range of visually and mechanically distinct areas to explore, packed to the brim with a fantastical cast of quirky characters, beautiful landscapes, cities, and of course, walking trees.
Ollie Ollie World is coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch and PC this winter. Make sure you wishlist it now.
That was Ollie Ollie World, which is coming to PC and all current console platforms this winter.
Next up, we've got a new game from the team at Odd Bug Studio, creators of PSVR's The Lost Bear. This animated story trailer will introduce you to the world of Tales of Iron, and something tells me you might be familiar with the narrator.
For centuries and longer, rats have fought tirelessly to repel the incessant frog invasions. Peace was only ever short-lived, until finally a young monarch rose to power. King Rattus, first of his name, unified the rat kingdoms under one rule, repelling Greenwort and his kind back to the putrid swamps from whence they came. Crops prospered, families flourished, and a magnificent crimson keep climbed ever higher toward the sky. But as time passed, King Rattus the Savior grew old, and the kingdom vulnerable once more. His people grew anxious, some claiming to perceive a faint odor in the air. Greenwort had returned with a ferocious vengeance. Amassing an army of unfathomable scale, he burned everything in his path towards the Crimson Keep. King Rattus gazed down upon his withered claws, barely able to hold the crown. He had little hope wielding a sword. So it was decided the crown should pass to Whiskers New. Arise, young prince, for the kingdom needs a hero. And so, your tale begins.
Question the reign of the Iron Frog. Doug. Anyway, in Tales of Iron, which is coming to PC and all current console platforms. Our next segment is from Polish studio Movie Games and hosted by God of War and Twisted Metal director David Jaffe, who recently joined their supervisory board.
Well, hello, fellas. It's me, David Jaffe. Great to see you. God of War, Twisted Metal, a bunch of PlayStation stuff. These days, I'm doing some new stuff with movie games. These guys, they've hooked up with this great company. You have to have heard of them, Platij Image, one of the best VFX houses in the business. They worked on The Witcher. They worked on Love, Death, and Robots. We're making a brand new game, the biggest game we've ever done, by the way, that's all about crime and mob and mafia and different time periods. It's going to be great. But for today, settle in, babies. These are the brand new games coming very soon from Movie Games. Lust from Beyond. Man, this is one of the coolest games I've played in the last year. It's what turned me on to movie games in the first place. What you're looking at is the M-rated, console-friendly version of the erotic horror cult classic. It's a first-person action-adventure game that blends Lovecraftian horror with weird freaking eroticism. I love this game, Lust from Beyond. Game number 2 is called Fire Commander. It lets you step into the shoes of the only real-life superheroes we got, the first responders. This game is my childhood fantasy come to life. This game took me totally by surprise. You're trapped in the wilderness, freezing, hungry, and now you're starting to go a little bit insane. Man, you start seeing all kinds of crazy stuff out there. Winter Survival Simulator, it's coming soon. Have a great E3. Have a great future games. I miss you guys. I'll see you soon. Oh my God.
Thanks to David Jaffe. And check out GamesRadar.com for more about movie games' upcoming titles.
This next presentation comes from the folks at Xseed Games, the makers of Story of Seasons and Rune Factory. Here's a look at their most exciting current and upcoming projects.
one.
Great. Then that's Raccoon. I don't know. Fending off a monster or two is one thing, but protecting the whole town? That's a lot.
Take that!
I'll get straight to it. Tomorrow. Today, I rest.
I look forward to working together, as colleagues and as rivals.
Marvelous.
Find out more about Xseed's lineup on GamesRadar.com.
This next game is a hack-and-slash RPG with twin-stick shooter elements set in a retro sci-fi world. Here's a new gameplay trailer for Batora: Lost Haven.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Batora Lost Haven is coming soon to PC and all current console platforms, and you can sign up to play the closed alpha when it launches on July 21st now.
Let's slow things down a bit with a look at the next game from the creators of 2 Point Hospital.
Oh wait, I think I saw something about this a few weeks ago.
No, you didn't. Here's developers Mark Webley, Ben Huskins, and Gary Card to tell you all about it and give you a first look at gameplay.
Introducing 2 Point Campus.
When we were thinking about what we were going to do next, campus and the idea of running a university or a college was something we just kept coming back to. It's a really rich topic. So people who haven't probably heard of 2 Point Studios may think, oh, schools, that's really dull. Well, hospitals, if you've seen our previous game, isn't about healthcare really. It's a wrapper, we call it 2 Point Hospital, but that's about as close as it gets to real world of medical healthcare.
Campus is taking everything we learned from 2 Point Hospital and taking it to the next level.
The important thing was for us to give the player a canvas that they could completely create themselves.
In Campus, you start with this blank plot of land.
We've got something called the Smart Brush, for example, which allows you to drag interesting shaped pathways. If you want to drag a picket fence, you can drag that along. It's just really easy to paint the world you want.
So it's really simple to drag out a courtyard, lay down some paths at different angles.
And it's fun, isn't it? I mean, it's adding this kind of city builder element to 2 Point Universe. The difference between 2 Point Hospital and Campus is that we're spending a much longer period with our students. What we wanted to do with campus is make you care about your university. Yeah, the idea of these interesting and different courses are going to attract interesting and different students. So there's a night school, horrible pun, but night school, you got it. You're going to train knights of the realm. So it won't be stuffy, normal, boring stuff that made you go to sleep at school. It's going to be really cool, interesting stuff.
That was 2 Point Campus, which is coming soon to PC and all current console platforms.
Our next game is in early development, but it already has a very cool codename, which is always a good sign. Here's Leo to tell you all about Project Ferocious.
Hello, my name is Leo, and I'm the developer of Project Ferocious, an action-adventure game set on a mysterious tropical island. Some of you might know me from Twitter as Omniok, where I post about the game and development and tech and stuff. And if not, I've been doing game dev for about 12 years with a big passion, and I've been working on this project for about 2 years. It's the first project of mine I decided to show to the public, and even though I know it still has a very long way to go, I'm very proud to present it today to you on the show. Please enjoy the trailer.
Project Ferocious is targeting a 2023 release date and coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Our next world premiere asks, what if Doom Guy had a drunk one-night stand with Super Meat Boy? Guess this next game wants to answer that question for some reason. Watch out for Warcry challenges when it stops defying gravity and launches, or drops, on PC this summer.
Up next, we've got another world premiere. Conway, Disappearance at Dahlia View is a story-driven detective thriller set in 1950s England. Let's find out more, shall we?
Robert Conway, 22nd of June, 1954. I've solved many a case in my time as a private investigator, but nothing so close to home as the abduction of Charlotte May. There are some things that take hold of a person and refuse to let go. For me, it's the idea of saving that little girl. My own daughter, Catherine, is on the case. She has the same look in her eye that I used to have. There'll be no stopping her. I wish I could say that all of my neighbors are innocent. I wish I could say that I have the faintest clue where to begin. There's a lot I wish I could say. The truth is, sometimes it takes a nightmare to wake a place like Dahlia View.
I am in. That was Conway, Disappearance at Dahlia View from White Paper Games, and you can dig into the mystery yourself when it lands on PC and all current console platforms, autumn 2021.
And with that, we're at the end of this year's Future Game Show.
Whoa, hold on. Surely this can't be the end. I mean, it's an E3 showcase.
Nope, sorry, Troy, that's it. Just kidding.
I knew it. All right, let's see it.
My name is Marissa Marcel. I'm 17 years old, and it's my dream to be an actress.
And that really is all we have time for. Be sure to head to GamesRadar.com for more coverage and updates on all the games you've seen today and more.
I'm really excited about that Sam Barlow reveal. Yes, and thanks to our headline partners, WD Black, and of course, all of our many talented developers and industry partners that have made all of this possible.
And of course, for everyone tuning in at home.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's lineup, and mark your diaries because the Future Game Show will be returning in August.
I'm Laura Bailey.
And I'm Troy Baker.
And this has been the Future Game Show
20.
Oh boy, that was a lot of games. Welcome back, everyone, to E3. Golden Boy here along with Jackie as we're covering the Future Game Show. And there was just so many games, Jackie. We'll just jump right into it. What was something that caught your eye? Because there's so many great games.
Honestly, I had a giant list, but they were like, okay, you got to pick one, Jackie. You can only pick one. And I decided to go with Harold Halibut. I grew up watching a lot of claymation shows and movies, and they just scared the heck out of me. And as soon as Harold Halibut came up,
Wallace and Gromit scared you as well?
I mean, they're a little creepy looking, am I wrong? But very enjoyable to watch. But I don't know. All I can say was that I was immediately attracted to this game. Obviously, you can see here it's got this underwater Atlantis vibe, also sci-fi. And when I was listening, we were just learning so much about the game. And they were saying that they built puppets in the real world, real life, and then they use mocap. And I was just like, so much effort has gone into this. It just seems like so much heart. So I'm down for it. This is definitely my favorite from the show.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It has a very unique style to it, and that is something that will certainly set it apart. I mean, the animations themselves have a certain kind of fluidity to them that you don't really get in a lot of games. You know, every movement seems like very purposeful, and it has a whimsical vibe to it. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting when that game finally does drop. Now, one of the games that I really loved was Death Run TV.
Yeah.
I thought this game looked awesome. It was like, it had that, it just has this vibe about it, like Smash TV almost, I think was like a good way to put it, was something that had inspired it. I like this. I like top-down shooters a lot. And this one just looked absurd top to bottom.
I don't know why, but I'm getting Kirby vibes for some reason, but it's just like absolutely wild and all these colors and bright lights and things jumping out at you. So it definitely looks fun. Like I can understand why you picked that one. So.
Yeah, there was just so many games, truly, like from top to bottom. You know, I'm a huge Sonic fan. I didn't even get to mention Sonic Colors Ultimate, which was cool to see there. Esports Boxing Club, which seemed just as absurd as it could possibly be. But what
I put Timberborn as my honorable mention.
Timberborn's a good one.
The
That's
Honor
right.
Society.
That's right.
I think, did we see Guinea Pigs Parkour too?
Oh yeah, I think Avalie squealed about that one.
Yes, Avalie
and
was
actually
great.
she's yelling at us right now. So you know what? That's a great opportunity to send it over to our media friends alongside Greg. What do you guys have?
If I've said it once, you wait until your microphone's on. All right? Don't be shouting over them, all right?
Okay, you know what? You know what?
What?
For guinea pig parkour, the rules do not apply!
I'm sorry, Avi, I'm sorry. All right, so you know what? Let's change it to PC gaming. We'll start with PC gaming, all right? And then we'll get over there. I'm sorry. You take the mains. You can.
Should I? I'm strapped in. I can't.
See, that's
They
why
chained me.
I have all this freedom, because then I can do whatever I want. Oh, you want a merch plug am I in the middle of a bit, sir? Am I in the middle of the bit? Jeez Louise. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder for anyone at home that you have an itch, you need some merch, go get some E3 merch at e3expo.com/shop today and tell him Greg sent you. And he was mad when he did. All right, back though, let's talk about PC gaming. Damon, what was your one thing from PC gaming that stood out to you?
Riddle me this, Greg. How is it that the presentation today with the most games that I want to play in it was the PC gaming show?
PC gaming's cool. A lot of cool stuff happening over there.
I've been led to believe differently, but maybe you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 games I want to play, but let's go with They Always Run. Another great-looking pixel art game. You're a bounty hunter with 3 arms, Greg. Think about everything you could do to catch your bounties if you had a 3rd arm.
I've been saying for a long time, these 2 arms are holding me back. I need a 3rd one.
And you travel the galaxy and chase after your bounties and take them back to your 2D spaceship. That's great.
Yeah, that does look great. Yeah, I'm with you. You know,
proper here.
You're coming off of what? Yeah, 30-some games in PC gaming, another 30 in future games. There's a lot of things to pick from. But Michael, for you, what stands out?
I'm gonna go with Citizen Sleeper. That game looks so dope, yo. So it's like a post-capitalist society where everything's busted, and corporations have taken over, as if that's not our lives already. But the thing about this is like it's inspired by tabletop RPGs, and then there's a lot. It seems to be there's a lot of character development in there, and I feel like that's a kind of game that could tell a lot of poignant stories. And it's also from the team that did In Other Waters, which that game was fire too. So y'all should peep that. But Citizen Sleeper it's a game that probably requires a lot of patience, and I think the ethereal cyberpunk vibe that it has is going to be able to garner my attention. And like some of that character art though, I was like, oh dang, they look hot, yo. Some hot character. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh boy, damn, they got swag on deck. Yeah. Yo, the anime boy with white slick back hair, that's what I'm trying to be when I get older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And probably when I'm older, this is going to be a post-capitalist society where everything's busted anyway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's just going to keep doubling down on what we already have. Yeah. So this is what grabbed your attention.
Yes.
At what point did your attention get lost and you doodled the little dog? Like,
that's Jake. That's Jake from not from State Farm. Wow.
Adventure Time, I believe.
Adventure Time. Wow. See,
I know 2 Jakes.
That's what capitalism does to you.
Yeah, right. Inserted in there.
Hate to see it.
Avalie.
Hi, dear friend.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good because during the PC Gamer Show, I was like, ooh, you know what game looks cool? Icarus. So I Googled a little bit more about it because the one thing that I like about these trailers is that it's cool and everything, but they don't tell you that much. So it's like, cool, you drop down onto what you think is Earth, but it's not Earth. It's second Earth, because the first Earth, we ruined it again somehow, because dang those humans. But it's a session-based survival game that you could play solo or co-op with up to 8 people. You drop in as like this little mission, and you got to go around achieving objectives and stuff, chop down some trees, build a house that eventually sets on fire, because that's apparently how climate change works. And then the drop ship eventually comes down to pick you up, and if you aren't there, you're stuck there forever. And I'm kind of a fan of consequences in survival games. and fighting big bears. So this game spoke to me. I'm kind of excited for it. I've been playing Raft as my one survival game for such a long time, and I'm like, this is kind of piquing my interest.
I can see that. That makes sense for me. Yeah, what you would want to get out there and do, because you're a terrifying person. This is a terrifying world, and you could exist on that. Yeah.
I know, right?
Okay, great. Dan?
Well, I was very excited to see Weeb Pikmin, aka Tinykin.
Yeah.
I think the game that stole my heart was Humankind. I'm a big fan of civilization games, things like that, one where you get to take society from sort of the dawn of mankind all the way through present day, so I can make that capitalist hellscape that will then inform the rest of the games the panel has chosen so far. And also, it'll finally let me conquer my greatest nemesis across history, which is Frankie Ward, as the Carthaginian queen. So it's going to be a good time. I'm super excited for that game.
Okay, apparently, yeah. And now you have beef with Frankie out there on the internet, huh?
Out of nowhere, but look, they laid down the first gauntlet by trying to attack my civilization. What can I do but defend myself?
All right, well, let's move on to future games, and we'll start over here and go back to who do you want to make an enemy of this time?
Oh, it's so
Troy
hard to
Baker,
choose.
Laura Bailey, who are you going after?
They're both my sworn mortal enemies.
Sure.
Blood feuds with both of them. But since Harold Halibut was already taken by Jackie over there, I'm going to go with Starmancer, actually, because I got some really great FTL vibes where it feels like you're building this sort of intergalactic space station, and then nightmarish things can happen. Like, it looked like some zombies were invading there as well. When the undead come after you in outer space, no one can hear you scream, but hopefully you can hear me telling you to airlock them out the nearest port, because otherwise it's going to be bad news bears for the rest of the survivors on that space station.
Sure, yeah, some Dead Space, right?
Yeah.
A little prequel before Isaac showed up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Avi?
I chose another terrifying game, and that would be Kiwi, where you play as two Kiwis. It's the co-op game where you're two little flightless birds working in a post office for some reason.
Sure.
And all of the other employees are also animals. I think we saw like an emu, which is another giant bird.
It is, yeah.
And then like an octopus for some reason. And you have like those Overcooked vibes where it's like you have to work together in the middle of chaos. Like there was a tornado flying around. There was like, I assume, poison gas flying up that you had to avoid as, again, two tiny little birds. But it just seems like such a cute little adventure. And I want to throw my other Kiwi partner into the toxic gas.
Yeah, poison gas, such a cute little adventure. Just mixing all of it. Michael, what about you?
I'm going to go with Severed Steel, which is a wild first-person shooter, and usually I don't gravitate towards shooters much anymore. I kind of grew out of them a little bit. But there's something about it reminds me of Super Hot a little bit. There's a lot,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like slow-mo and then trying to assess the enemies and like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this person, slow down, bullet time, hit this person. So it looked really exciting, and I was like, okay, I can mess with this. So,
okay,
Severed Steel.
Damon?
You know, Greg, I believe video games.
You can't even get through it. I know, as soon as he starts a presentation,
I believe video games are for everybody. Jackie Jing cannot take a game away from any of us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add my name to the list of Harold Halibut fans.
Yeah.
Love the stop-motion art style. I love the Wes Anderson vibes from it. The game takes place on a spaceship the size of a city, but it's submerged underneath an ocean on another planet. And that sounds like a place I'd like to hang out. Also, it's a point-and-click adventure, which I grew up on.
Excellent. All right, good. The correct answer, of course, was lake. Nobody said lake. I want to deliver the mail, not in the weird co-op-y way, right? It's 1986. I'm walking around delivering the mail. This sounds like a dream. You know what I mean? It was a simpler time, Damon. I'd be in between Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. There's a lot to look forward to in this land, but we'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know, of course, what you liked at E3 today. Hashtag E3 2021. The rest of the time, we are live. You can be on a little ticker. You can have a good time, but believe it or not, there's still more to come here at E3 2021. We just saw a lot of indie titles showcased, but what were some of your favorites? Let's figure out what the favorite indie title of all time was, or at least some of them. Let's have a look.
I play so many indie games.
I play a lot of indie games.
I love the indie scene.
Absolutely love the whole indie game community.
It's easier than ever to make a game, and so many people are now appreciating those kinds of games as opposed to just the games that Nintendo makes, that Capcom makes, that Activision makes.
I try not to play the AAAs all the time. I mean, obviously they're super fun and great, but you never know those hidden gems.
Favorite indie titles. You already know this.
Among Us.
Florence. Across the Grooves.
Stardew Valley.
Oxygen Not Included.
Firewatch. Everhood is definitely my favorite indie game.
Little Misfortune. Evans Remains.
Slay the Spire.
Oxenfree is very good. Cozy Grove.
Dead Cells.
Cuphead.
Darkside Detective.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many to go through. Hades.
Love Hades. Been with Hades since day one of early access.
Inside.
Inside.
Inside. The side scroller. That was incredible.
The story is mind-blowing.
It just took me through every emotion. I was so crazy playing that.
The Last Campfire.
Enter the Gungeon.
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Sally Face.
Shovel Knight.
Hollow Knight.
Night in the Woods. It was so unique and so quirky. That game will stay with me for a long time. I thought it was a masterpiece.
Celeste.
I'm always going to have deep-rooted love for Celeste.
Journey. Obviously.
Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares doesn't tell you anything, but by the end of it, you're like, I think I got it all, and that's really weird.
One of my favorite indie games that I've played recently is Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer, you'll cry on that one. You get to hang out with little animal friends and ferry them into the afterlife, which sounds really depressing, but I promise it's just a gorgeous game.
I can name indie games for days and days and days on end.
The ease of developers to just make a game and put it out there is like at an all-time high.
And I think now you've seen like a lot of indie developers blossom.
This person made a game themselves, and here it is, and they're like pouring their heart out to you. I think it's beautiful.
You just need to dig a little deeper and look for new things, and you never know, you might find your favorite game of all time.
Innovation. It's happening all around us. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we know our broadband network will be ready. Because we're building it right now. It's more reliable, more secure, and 10 times faster than today. 10G will power America's digital future. We're ready for what's next. Are you?
IGN Summer of Gaming has officially partnered with the ESA for E3 2021. IGN Summer of Gaming is now all summer long. From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews, IGN Summer of Gaming has it all. IGN Summer of Gaming begins right now.
I mean, BGG supports a lot of different programs and does a lot of different types of work. We are kind of like a jack of all trades. We've done a lot of fundraising. So last year we raised money for Color of Change and the Bell Project, and in general advocating for women of all different ages and walks in life and creeds to be gamers. We just continue to do different areas in which we see the need at the time, and obviously we can't support every cause, but we try our best to do each one that we feel needs our support or we can help rally towards.
There is a youth movement shaking up our industry today, with some of the biggest decision makers in the space being under the age of 30. Whether it's running esports leagues or developing new software, the sky is the limit for what these young minds can do. Here's Mary Margaret of Entertainment Weekly with 4 of the brightest stars in the gaming space today.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Margaret. I'm the editor-in-chief of Entertainment Weekly, and I'm also an alum of Facebook Gaming. We have 4 amazing leaders today for E3's Entrepreneurship in Gaming panel. And to kick it off, I'd really love to start with you, Nicole. You obviously came from a finance background, and as CEO of Evil Geniuses, you've helped the company do a lot of firsts, right? You applied a Moneyball method to grow the Valorant team. Evil Geniuses was one of the first to have an HR department, to build kids camps and summer programs. All really impressive things, but as we know, change is never easy. So we'd love to know what your advice is for people who are trying to do things that are disruptive and innovative and are hitting some walls when they're trying to do that.
Of course, and first, thank you for having me, Mary. Excited to be here. When I started at EG a little over 2 years ago, We had a lot of open space in terms of what to do because the company was at a relatively low point in its structure. They had been divested from its previous ownership group, didn't have much back office infrastructure, didn't have much diversity of what we competed in from a gaming perspective. So we not only had to find our North Star and what we wanted to do, but then how we make decisions and how we chose what paths to play in that ended up being disruptive in many different ways was finding junctures between what is authentic and what we care about from a passion point of view, as well as what can we speak to as experts. And then of course the functional, what serves a business need? How do we tie this into? How do we grow as a company more than just a brand? And when we found intersections of those two items, it was pretty clear for us of how do we proceed and what do we do and how do we proceed and decide on what's right.
Yeah. You make it sound so easy, Nicole, but I know it was a lot harder than what you just ran through. I think, Kat, for you, as the founder of WeThink, which if folks don't know is an educational platform that really harnesses the power of gaming, part of the thesis is that we need to prepare the next generation, right? And prepare them for the future landscape, especially what work is going to be and what they need to do to be prepared and competitive there. For anyone in the startup space and who's an entrepreneur, being prepared for that future is critical. So how do you stay on top of innovation, competition, and trends to make sure you're one step ahead that we think, is continuing to be on the forefront of that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think what we're doing is hopefully creating what will be more than a trend for future work by anticipating the paradigm shift that's happening in education, by understanding how technology is driving new ways of learning in particular, right? And that's why we've made use of video game environments that are so popular and growing in popularity, because learning through play and learning through scenarios and learning through projects are kind of the way to go in terms of preparing for the future. So we really hope to create that, again, more than a trend, but a real paradigm shift ourselves.
And do you feel like that shift, there's more people joining you in that space, or and do you feel like that surge kind of growing year over year?
Yeah, 100%. As technology changes the world that we live in, right, and it really demands, I think, more rapidity in terms of learning, as well as dedication and more focus, and a lot of the skills that we don't really prepare people for today, skills that I like to think of as fundamental factors of success. Sure, I absolutely see so many more companies in multiple different verticals that are joining us in terms of championing new ways of learning. So from corporate development to K-12 and high school, I think that's why we're seeing more funds and a focus on that K through gray, as opposed to really thinking of people and age groups in silos, because it's not how it works anymore.
Brittany, you have many things on your resume. You are the head of creators at G2. In your role, you have a really direct hand in shaping that next wave of talent and have been really vocal about the pride you feel. And this is from your Twitter. Don't worry, I'm quoting you, but it's a good one, that you get to work on things that will help people elevate, not just participate. When you think of what you look for when it comes to recruiting people, either as creators or as part of your team, what do you look for?
Well, it's really interesting because, we look at G2 as not necessarily a esports organization, but an entertainment platform and vertical in itself. So how and what creators lend to that goal and that direction that we want to take the company to, so looking for really great personalities that really complement the competitive side of the industry, but can actually fulfill the whole, I would say, mold of where the industry is going in general, not just esports, but gaming. So, we do see a lot more cultural interest and entertainment interest in gaming and esports, and who can kind of dabble in all of those different pillars.
That was actually a perfect segue to Taylor in terms of all the different people and being more inclusive about the people who can kind of quote unquote, dabble in sort of all of the different ways or all the different doors that gaming can open. Taylor is the head of talent for Queens Gaming, which is a female-led gaming lifestyle company. What for you has been the biggest hurdle that you face and overcome in terms of building that amazing roster and building the profiles of those queens, of those female gamers?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think maybe initially it was about like getting people to see the vision, and like once we were able to kind of, you know, lay it out for people, I think, you know, after that, a first initial wave of creators got on board, then we were able to kind of use the folks who were already on board to help the others understand. But I think getting everyone to a place where they could see this like group of powerful women together, like pushing forward, and kind of restructuring the way that the business works. I think that that was one of our big early hurdles. And I think the team did really, really well, kind of pulling together and launching over it as one.
We made a point to call this an entrepreneurship in gaming versus women entrepreneurs in gaming. But that doesn't mean, you know, we can ignore the data. I think Nicole, you know, Evil Geniuses recently published that report where the last year alone, right, nearly half of all women in gaming have experienced some kind of gender discrimination. For all of you, in your perspectives, what are the biggest areas of opportunity that are still under leveraged? And there's, you know, what are the things, if there's like the one thing that the industry can nail to really bridge that gap when it comes to inclusivity?
You know, I will say, and this kind of goes into what I was going to say earlier to the question you presented before, that I really think there's a spot for anyone here. The industry is growing, and it's growing rapidly, and we have our pain points, and it's also a lot of work that hasn't even been done yet, especially in the different areas that we're growing into. Like, who knew 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that these teams would get involved in the creator space, that there would be all these partnership opportunities, you know, and entertainment opportunities for these players, for the talent, for the influencers, all of that. Even for some of the CEOs and a lot of the C-level and execs that are at these companies are all personalities themselves. You know, and so I think there is a lot of opportunity for bringing experience from other areas. There should be no gatekeeping whatsoever. That experience is needed, and that is what's going to make this industry grow and understand. Because a lot of the pain points is, you know, leading up to just recently, you know, I feel like esports and gaming in general, specifically esports, was, you know, we're flying this plane and building it at the same time.
Yeah.
And that could only work for so long before we need help, you know? And so finally, I think we're finally getting to a point, but there is still a lot of opportunity to learn and to invite diversity and women into your teams, especially on the more creative marketing, you know, executive level, because I've seen it firsthand with a lot of the companies I've worked for.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a good and a different perspective, you know, so that you are all inclusive and thinking about everything, all possibilities. So,
yeah.
I absolutely agree with you, Brittany. And I think the thing that we've seen working with particularly, you know, young players from third grade all the way through adults, and what we've been able to provide that I think is enormously helpful is a scaffolding for behavior online, because one of the challenges that we've seen from a very young age all the way through adult is that there is a gate, right, for girls involved in gaming in particular. And I think that's wildly important, so that we create more opportunities and a less toxic environment for females in gaming. And again, that's one of the things that we're really careful to do by providing a scaffolding that focuses on behavior like teamwork and leadership and problem solving, which invites non-toxic behavior organically as opposed to just policing behavior. And I think that's wildly important. And the more that we can create cultures, whether that's in a development house or a studio or actually in the game itself, I think the easier it's going to be to create channels for inclusivity and diversity within the gaming space. So as a company, we're dedicated to that, obviously, in our own culture. And then as we go about putting our software and programs in schools and partnering with institutions, really making sure that we're creating that culture that is inspiring, again, teamwork and inclusivity.
That's crazy that you see it starting so early, right? It's like we like to think that this is an adult problem or a learned thing. But it's amazing that even at the start, where it's like you are first like introduced to gaming when you're a kid. And if that's like cut off so early, that's a really great point, that it's not kind of at the tail end when you're trying to break into something. It's all the way at the beginning when you're first finding and discovering a love for the space. Taylor, Taylor and Nicole, what about you? Any thoughts in terms of other things that would help, or maybe strides that have really helped from your experience?
We've been heavily investing at both positioning ourselves internally as well as externally as a very values and inclusivity focused organization. Because first, as the facts show, gaming is very ubiquitous. As Brittany mentioned, like gatekeeping is its own detriment because gaming is for everyone and is everyone, however way you slice the pie, gender, nationality, orientation. But the fact that that's not what's represented in the space or what's talked about in terms of creating inclusive pathways is a problem. So from the org perspective, we've really not only invested in research to understand the why empirically is this happening and where are trends that we can then take bite-sized chunks out of fixing, but then also position ourselves in both what we do and how we operate to make sure that we keep those doors open and those pathways open for diverse talent.
I think for me, a big part of it is like when people are new to this space to be kind of the receiver of new people that like all of us wish we could have had, right? And so like when I'm bringing like people or staff or brands into this space, I really try to make sure that not only am I like welcoming and open-minded, but that I'm like giving them good information and helping them like immediately get their bearings so that they're able to like navigate our space with comfort and confidence. Because it's like I know from experience and I know from working with folks that like entering the gaming space can be really intimidating, and you know, developing your career here or pushing your brand into the space or getting into Twitch or any of these things can be really intimidating. And I think a form that happens with gatekeeping that people don't always think about is like this restriction of like knowledge, right? And like people wanting to keep the things that got them to where they are a secret, and for me, or hold it back, right? And for me, I'm very quick to like yank back the curtain and be like, here's how I did it, here's what I'm thinking about, here's, you know, I had a conversation with a brand the other day where they were talking about they've never used Discord, right? And I was talking about incorporating Discord into what we were working on. And they were like, well, we've never used it before. And I was like, okay, well, like one, you should use it.
Yeah.
You know, get familiar. Like if you want to be in this space, like you should check it out. Yeah. But two, like helping brands and new people and new programs like really get off to a good start. I think that everybody who's in the space having the kind of success and having the kind of career they want to have can sort of pay it forward a little bit when you're encountering people who are new or brands or whoever or whatever it is that's new to the space. I think that we can be a little bit gentler and more helpful with the onboarding of new folks into the space. And I think that that makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing point. I think that word like intimidation is so true. Whether it's, even doing this panel or, and wondering like the feedback that you're going to get, or, it is a group that's vocal and wonderful and a community that's vocal and wonderful. But there are some tough parts on that. And it could, and as someone who comes in, it can be, a hell of a place to try to find your way to belong. Well, thank you, by the way, to this amazing, badass group of leaders who continue to innovate the space, are trailblazers all in your own rights. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you were inspired by something. And I hope you're super fired up about the opportunities in gaming moving forward. Thank you all. Be well.
IGN Summer of Gaming has officially partnered with the ESA for E3 2021. IGN Summer of Gaming is now all summer long. From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews, IGN Summer of Gaming has it all. IGN Summer of Gaming begins right now.
Welcome back to E3 live from Los Angeles. We've seen so many great games today, and I want to get your take on what your favorite announcement was. Use the hashtag E3 2021 so we can have it along the side. But for now, the nation turns its lonely eyes to Damie Hatfield from IGN.com. What was the game of the day for you?
Well, Greg, I said earlier today that Guardians of the Galaxy might end up being the pleasant surprise for me for the day. And now that the dust is settled, it definitely was.
Nice.
They said the magic words right at the beginning of the presentation. Guardians of the Galaxy is a single-player, narrative-driven campaign game. I think they seem to have a good handle on these characters. I think most of the jokes were landing. I loved the alien designs that we saw and the cool alien planets they were visiting. So yeah, single-player adventure. We were planet hopping around the galaxy with these interesting characters, visiting interesting aliens and killing them. That sounds like a game I want to play.
100% right there with you is my pick as well, because like everything you just said, but on top of that, jumping in, I didn't expect the choices. I didn't expect there to be this variance of what we're going to do.
That's very, IDOS, right? That's very Deus Ex.
Totally, exactly. But still, I would have expected if you're going single player and you're doing a narrative-focused game, you'd have it go this way. And they had a really interesting conversation with me afterwards that you can still catch on the E3 channels about all of that and why they did that and how they're doing that. And I love the 80s music for it, right? Yeah. It's got its own vibe to it. And yeah, I'm stoked about that one. Michael?
We don't have to wait very long either.
Oh, I know. That's even better. October, right? Michael?
Stalker 2. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't mention Stalker 2 when we were doing
that one coming. That's that one. I did not see that one coming.
Because Xbox had so many games that I forgot about the game that I liked most during the showcase. Oh man, but yeah, Stalker 2. It's kind of I guess kind of obscure because it's a hard game to play nowadays. Like the original Stalker series. Yeah. It's kind of been obscure, but like Stalker 2 being on the Xbox stage, like we kind of saw reveals in the past about it, but are we going to see gameplay? How far is this out? Because GSC Game World's been through a lot since they've done other games. And to see it in action, it looks like it's going to be also, I lied earlier when I said, like, I don't really mess with shooters anymore. Then I saw Stalker 2, I'm like, oh, okay, like, it looks more like a shooter.
Pulling you back in.
Yeah, it looks more like a shooter than the previous games have, because it had a little bit of that jank. But here, it looks solid, it looks tight, and it looks very scary.
Very?
Very scary, because like, there is an element of horror in the Stalker franchise. Yes, it's post-apocalyptic, but it is also a little bit supernatural and surreal and scary. So definitely hooked by what I saw from Stalker 2 today.
Excellent. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you're watching, you can vote in all of our polls as well. You see ones up right now. What was your favorite announcement today? Halo running away with the dang thing, 35%. Right behind it, Dying Light 2, followed up by Guardians of the Galaxy. Avi, what about you?
Well, I don't know if my pick is very scary, as Michael was talking about, but I was looking at Naraka Blade Point because, again, I'm like, first impression, okay, Fortnite, because it has the Battle Royale, meets Blade and Soul faster combat, meets Genshin Impact for the simpability and customizable characters. And because I'm loving it as you get to see all of the fights that we saw in the trailer, the weapons that they announced for today. I think it was a spear and then a chainsaw in addition to the bow, the swords, and all the different types of combat. We saw the incredible mobility that you have in the game with all the parkour elements, because I like to run away from fights because I know I'm not going to win them. And that's why I need my teammates to come in. But then just besides that, the game looks so fun.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's my favorite.
When you guys were talking about it after we showed the trailer, right, you mentioned, of course, the fact that you don't have to build in it, which is awesome.
Yep.
I'm terrible at Fortnite building. And Michael, you taled about getting up in people's face, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you can hang back. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I want to try it for sure. Dan, what's yours?
Well, I'm going to stay on brand here. It was a throwback to the JRPGs of yesteryear, and that's Eiyuden Chronicle. It is a game that I am so excited to see more footage of. I'm a big fan of Suikoden. This is a spiritual successor to that game, as I mentioned earlier. And just the beauty of the gameplay, that sort of mixture of 2D gameplay, but it feels like it's been brought into the third dimension effectively, the battle system they have there, and just the endless amounts of characters. Like the subtitle is 100 Heroes. You're going to recruit a metric ton of characters in this game, so plenty of value there, and I just can't wait to see more from it.
Excellent insight, everyone. Great job today. A+ work. All right?
You too, Greg.
Damon, please don't. I'll take it. A+ work as a host. Let's go to our B+ hosts, Golden Boy and Jack.
Wow.
Correct. Wow. No words.
No words, Greg.
We're going to pretend that
We're moving
happened.
on.
Yes. And let's talk about an A+ game, Naraka Blade Point. We heard Avalee fangirling about it. We're fangirling about it, too. You got to play.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It's a fantastic game. 100% suggest everyone check this one out if you happen to dig Battle Royale.
Combat-style Battle Royale, 100%.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. But baby, 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 this was it for me. The Xbox Keynote, Xbox Bethesda Showcase, amazing. Starfield opened things up, but let's be real. You guys know I'm so excited for Halo. Halo's my jam. It looks great. Also, there's a multiplayer showcase that's going down tomorrow, too. So if you are a multiplayer fan, make sure you check that out.
Yeah, Halo Infinite looked fantastic. Starfield, Redfall, Forza, but look at this, y'all. Square Enix also hitting out of the park today. We got to see Guardians of the Galaxy, Life is Strange. We have to mention Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin as well. A lot of great titles, but nobody hit on this one, so I'm excited for it. I thought that was super important.
Yeah, and one game that has been just on the tip of my tongue, it's so much. Back 4 Blood. Love this game. We saw the PvP mode. I'm getting a lot of PvP here. Wonder if the producers are telling me something. It's like I know a thing or two about PvP games. But this game is awesome. That new time mode, I'm all about it. I think that this is going to be something special, something great for you and your friends to jump into. I cannot stress enough, folks, if you haven't played a game like Left 4 Dead in the past, Back 4 Blood is the perfect entry in the series. And that PvP, you're going to want to watch. You're going to play that one 100%.
100%. And talking about zombies, the PC gaming show, Dying Light 2. We got a good look at Dying Light 2 for sure. We both were geeking out about Death Trash. I'm sorry.
Death Trash.
Yeah, that looked fantastic as well. But honestly, they had so many trailers. I can only pick a couple. Exion was another one. I think that we have that up right now. So a lot of good titles coming from PC gaming.
That's right. And then the last one we had was a future game show. Little Sonic Colors Ultimate here. I love Sonic. This game, I'm definitely going to be spending time playing this one. Anytime I get an opportunity to play Sonic, I'm all about that. This was great. You know, top to bottom, we had a lot of great games that normally we would not get to check out. You know,
Harold Halibut.
Harold Halibut. I just saw you tweet about this game too.
I know. I was a big fan. Dan Casey and I actually were arguing over who got to pick it. And then Dan was like, no, y'all ain't stealing this from me. I'm going to say Harold Halibut as well. So, yeah, I thought this one looked fantastic. Also, Lake.
Yes.
The mail delivery one. Mr. Miller was a fan of that one.
Mr. Miller, the D+ host, was a big
Hey everybody,
fan of
what's
that.
happening over here? Let's talk about the Monday schedule and cut.
Terrible.
We'll go over that quick.
Boys Mike at 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. It will be the Verizon presentation at 9:45. In television, we'll take our stage. 10:15 a.m. Pacific, Take-Two Interactive has an inclusivity panel. Then at 11:10 a.m., it's Mythical Games. At noon, high noon, it's the Indie Spotlight. 12:30, Freedom Games. 12:55, Ven. And then at 2:30 p.m., we have Capcom, followed by Razer at 3. Now, speaking of Capcom, I'm sure we all have them circled on our calendar. We're very excited for something special tomorrow. Guys, what are we hoping to see from Capcom?
Oh, wow.
Big question.
Oh. For some reason, Monster Hunter popped in my head first. Always about that. I mean, if we saw some Chun-Li action, Street Fighter 6, okay, that'd be dope too. But yeah, I think for those two, if I saw anything with them, I'd be happy. So.
Okay. Well, I would want to see something unreleased, something that we haven't seen before. It goes without saying. They did announce that they are going to talk about some stuff with Resident Evil Village. Yeah. So that, I wonder what they're going to have, because that game has been the talk of the town. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, though.
What?
No, I haven't.
I'm shocked.
We cut the show early. We got to get him out of here.
You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely adore that. All I can say is Creepy Baby. I've put that up numerous times.
And Lady D.
Oh, Lady D.
Who's Avali's favorite character.
All right.
Big fan of tall ladies.
Of course, all I want is more Dead Rising. I don't think I'll get it tomorrow, but I will take it.
Boy can dream.
For now, hey, media team, come on out.
Come on out.
Here's our Saturday Night Live style skit.
Yeah, you know what that means? It means it's time. I actually want to watch. It's time to wrap it all up. Right there it is. There it is.
I said Lady. You already know.
What are you talking about Lady D for?
You already know I was talking about Lady D.
Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, that's it for today's coverage of E3. We want to thank all of our friends at Binge iHeartRadio, a proud partner of the E3 2021 presentation and the #1 podcast publisher in the U.S. Listen to all your favorite shows on the iHeartRadio app. Also, a big thanks to our media crew, of course, the team at IGN and all the developers today. We will be back here bright and early at 8:30 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. We got to go to bed right now to bring you more announcements and game footage you crave. So until then, good night.
Bye. Good night.
Just let me fall to my groove. Secure. Just let me fall to my groove. Just let me fall to my grave.